Hi everybody, and welcome back to StorytellerSpira's channel for Vampire the Masquerade Tuesday. 2 weeks in a row, baby! Yay!
Yay!
But yeah, we are back playing our vampire characters. We are on to episode 22, and everybody is actually fully immersed at the Diablerie auction happening on the Mississippi River. I'll do a little bit of a recap on that in a second, but until then, how's everybody doing? How are all of my players, and is everybody in the audience?
So good. So excited.
Exam season.
Made of mucus.
Nice.
Brilliant. Are you still sick?
In fact, yes.
That was some solid comedic timing. Alright, so to give a little bit of a recap from last session, our intrepid crew met up with the prince to formulate the main plan of action on going to this auction in which they believe elders, possibly involved with the Sabbat, are selling kindred, many just recently turned humans, only turned as Diablerie fodder, on this at this dark, terrible auction. Along with our 5 players here are 4 of the NPCs: Anthony, Christopher, Jake, and Roxy, the gangrel, who is leading some out-of-towner gangrels to help them. But Rebecca and Abraham specifically were able to properly disguise themselves as ghouls, and then pretended to be said ghouls of Theo, who is similarly in disguise, essentially pretending to be the Baron Samedi himself. Well, asked, he didn't say so, but properly avoided the question. So people started talking about that. Luther and Dinah, on the other hand, are out on a speedboat, pretending to just be people out for a late night cruise on the river, and languidly following behind. Dinah recently discovered her ability to essentially use astral projection, by leaving her body behind and sending out her spirit to wander around. So she's been doing a little extra spying for the group while her body is on board the speedboat with Luther. The very end of last session had Rebecca pretending to be Sabrina the ghoul, and Abraham pretending to be Peter, possessing the body of a man from a hospital that had been in a vegetative coma for a time. We're starting to just survey the room and get to understand the feeling. Abraham as Peter is definitely trying to now get some verbal information from people, find out some names, what they're doing, why they're here. Rebecca had used her abilities to feel out the minds and spirits of the people in the room, and is now left very uncomfortable, having discovered the genuine hunger for not only murder, but to devour these people's souls. And it is just sitting like a disgusting heavy cloud around the room. Theo, similar to Abraham, is just trying to see what's going on, survey the area, and play his part. And Luther and Dinah are in the wings, ready for being physically needed or to make a getaway if need be. I believe that's about everything from last week. The last thing was that the elder child vampire that Luther had met before, Maggie, had gone on stage and done a little introduction as music started playing and the riverboat took off. So with that, let me get some music going. And all right. Yep. All right. So just checking my notes again real quick. All right. So we've got 3 on board and 2 players in the wing. I think, Dinah, you had been on the boat in your astral form, but I don't believe you actually popped back yet to talk to Luther. You had still been staying to listen to Maggie's speech.
Yes.
Okay, and Luther and Rebecca, or sorry, Abraham and Rebecca as Sabrina and Peter were inching your way toward a couple people in the room. One that Rebecca had picked up on, their attitude was very indifferent to the whole night. They did not seem interested in the auction itself, just sort of there along for who knows what. Whereas the other one's energy was similarly not the same kind of hunger that a lot of the other kindred were displaying, but some other kind of obsession. Their emotions were very much all over the place.
I was not headed there. I was busy being the Baron's little bitch.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
But Rebecca,
would-
you're sneaking a little closer. Are you just gonna sit and listen? Do you want to do anything specific?
Yeah, it would be nice to do some Mind One, Prime One shenanigans and see exactly who's who of the 2 men.
Okay, are you gonna go with Mr. Indifferent, who is in a fine, like blazer and sweater, slacks and dress shoes, little down for the evening, a little dressed down for the evening, but still nice, whereas the other one looks pretty ragged, like he didn't care at all to try and dress up, and not even, no, clothes aren't even nice for an average day to day.
She's gonna go with Mr. Scatterbrain.
Okay, what are you looking for?
She's basically gonna try and do an aura read and see if she can figure out. Even if nothing supernatural, she would like to kind of get a grip on what even like emotional, like how is he? You know what I mean?
Okay, go ahead and roll that for me.
That looks like a failure.
Yeah, because even at 5, which I was gonna give you, don't have it. So you stand nearby Mr. Scrappy Doo, and you try to get a better fix on what's going on in his mind, anything more about him, and it's just kind of a little bit of static. You're not really feeling anything too direct. You get the tiniest glimpse of his aura, and you do know that this is a kindred, but that's also like not a big surprise seeing as where you are.
Yep. It's not going to deter her from approaching, and she will try and not, I don't want to say very noticeably walk up, but she's not going to try and sneak up on him if he is, but she'll try and walk up and open with some polite conversation. Hi, I couldn't help but notice you standing here, and I don't want to be standing next to my dominant right. Oh wait, shit, she doesn't know that word. My guy right now.
So the scruffy looking younger man, the kindred that you were just looking into, seems genuinely shocked when someone comes up and starts speaking to him, and his companion, like, as if he almost forgot other people were even here. Um, oh, and he looks to his friend, kind of confused, like, can you deal with this? So the slightly older man, maybe mid-30s, looks down towards you and just reaches out a hand. I'm afraid we haven't met. I'm from out of town.
Well, it's good to meet you. And she'll shake the hand. Can I ask who you two are? I'm with Mr. B back there.
My name is Carson, and he looks to where, like, you kind of lean your head, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm really new here. I don't know who anyone is.
Oh, well, I'm sure he'll come over and say hi at some point. He's nothing if not incredibly polite. Who are you?
Which one is that to?
Really either. She's gonna kind of peek over at the nervous guy.
So he starts straightening himself out after the initial shock he presented and clears his throat, just mutters, Raymond, and starts to move away.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I was coughing.
It's okay. Raymond.
Okay.
And as he starts to move away, Carson kind of slips into where he was standing and smiling at you says, don't mind him. He's not much for parties. He's simply obligated to be here. What did you say your name was?
Oh, I'm Sabrina.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
What do you mean obligated? Do you guys run this?
No, I certainly don't. He looks a little uncomfortable at the question.
I'm sorry, I don't. This is our first time. Please excuse me if I'm asking things that might make you uncomfortable. I'm not sure what the etiquette is around here. If you could fill me in, that would be. I mean, I don't want to mess up any more conversations.
He nods his head, essentially ignoring your question, but nods his head back towards the Baron. You said you arrived with that man? Is he of importance around here?
Yeah, he's a bit of a local legend.
Did I hear any of this?
I think you were like the other side of the
She's
room.
only telling the truth, man. I'm just happy about it.
You're the other side of the room, I think, but it's a small space. Let me look at your character sheet.
I mean, I know I do have hearing up,
Yeah.
and I am actively trying to eavesdrop on anyone that's saying anything important, and also stock tips.
Yeah, so for right now, Abraham, unless I say, like, it's a quiet conversation or on a different part of the boat, like, you can probably hear whatever you key in on. Theo, because you have such high perception and alertness anyway, if you wanted to hear what Rebecca was talking about, especially because it's not like she's trying to whisper it, yeah, you're fine. Or you can at least make out most of it. So, after Rebecca answers that, he smiles and says, I recognize the costume, but I wasn't so sure if it was the real thing.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I feel like that's kind of his whole, I just get the door, you know what I mean?
So, you're a servant?
Mm-hmm. So why are you guys, you said you're not from here?
No, I was invited, by Raymond, and he, like, kind of just goes that direction.
No. And she'll kind of peer over Carson again. Where do you hail from?
I'm originally from New York. I come down here now and then, but that is my usual haunt, as some people call it.
And Raymond?
Raymond travels much more than I do.
So, I'm sorry. You guys are... You're not his servant, are you? Is that rude to ask?
No, I'm not. Again, he kind of like shifts, looking as if a stranger's being asked a whole bunch of personal questions, but finally says, he stayed with me for some time, roommates.
Okay, so what... Can I ask what your stake in this is? Are you shopping?
No, I have no particular interest in the bid. Like I said, I was just invited. Felt rude to decline. If you'll excuse me, I should see what Raymond's up to. And he begins walking away.
Okay. What is, like, is Raymond just standing there kind of weird?
He kind of just moved out of the area back into, like, another, like, quieter corner.
Okay.
So, as a reminder for just the general layout of the main floor, the first floor that you enter, which is... Let me get the picture back up. A hardwood dance floor with a small stage where the, as Dinah pointed out, less than amazing jazz band is playing. There is a small balcony area with some seating, though it doesn't look like anyone has moved up in that direction. The floor is, in fact, a little bit crowded because there are about, let's see, about 10 people milling about, with several other people kind of hanging on their arms. You can tell, etiquette-wise, it looks like these are probably the servants, drivers, or ghouls of the actual attendees. Amongst them, you can see the young kindred Maggie. There's an older Asian man. There's about 3 other men, other than Carson and Raymond. There's 2 women you can see for sure, and then there's another woman who's actually heavily covered in shawls, including one draped over her head and across her face, really only leaving her eyes open. Just letting anybody on the boat know, and Dinah, if you pop in or out, that's the scene.
So okay, so there is a section of people that seems to be just the ghouls and the lower.
Definitely by the color in their skin, their attitudes, they're like, you know, more docile posture, and being quiet during conversations. Definitely seems more like ghouls or servants.
I think I'm gonna head over towards them. If asking, of course, the Baron if that's all right, and that I am available if he needs me.
Rebecca will about come back to the Baron at this point.
Theo just smiles and shrugs, kind of like, I'm totally okay if my ghouls are the one that make a scene here. It fits the Baron to have uppity ghouls.
More or less.
Did you want refreshments, Mr. B? How are you?
Mr. B?
Mr. B.
He will glare at you hard on that one.
Oh, excuse me, Mr.
Doctor?
B.
Mr. Dr. the B.
He'll smile and just say quietly, if you're not going to try, please don't try at all. We can
I'm
just die
trying
here.
so hard. I thought you would like it because it's like I'm not I'm not admitting it outright.
Anyway. Yes.
How would you prefer that I refer to you?
I'll let you intuit that out.
But
Okay,
she
Mr.
did,
B.
and she decided on Mr. B.
I will let you re-intuit that decision. Go mingle with the commoners. I want to see what they're doing. Maybe you can ruffle feathers by being a lowly servant talking to them.
All right. Who's the most bougiest person here?
Probably the one with the biggest dress.
Like I'm asking the storyteller.
Yeah.
She's not gonna ask. You know what? She would though. Never mind.
There is definitely.
Don't act like I'm dumb.
There is definitely a woman with like perfectly coiffed hair. It looks like she doesn't even want to turn too fast, so no curls go out of place. Very, very expensive dress. Good like 6-inch stilettos. And as much as you're kind of picking up on like some people are ghouls or servants, she's kind of flocked by obviously flushed cheek humans who are kind of like giggling and leaning on her. Theo, if you're still next to Rebecca and she asks you kind of like for a hint, you're gonna pick up that whatever this kindred is, she's definitely got a herd with her.
Does she look New Orleans local? Or rather, do I know her?
No, not at all.
But she seems to be the center of attention.
She has a
Minus her herd. Well, that doesn't. Anyone can bring a bunch of goats to a fucking party. Theo's done that many times.
Picture the debutante that's laughing loudly to keep people's eyes on her. So she's got a
Who's
couple.
being quiet and observing?
Huh?
I want to scan the room for someone being particularly quiet and observant. Not mingling much, just kind of content.
Other than Carson and Raymond, which you got to see Rebecca speak with them, it's definitely the woman covered in shawls.
I'll like sort of nudge Rebecca and be like, that is definitely the face. And that might be somewhat of actual importance. You might live if you talk to her. She will probably feed you my nutsack. Has perks.
Well, I've never tried a decomposing nutsack before. Maybe I should talk to the shawls.
It's probably a good way to achieve that.
As I'm headed over to the ghouls, like I will stop for a second and glance over my shoulder. Like, what the fuck are you?
I don't know which one to pick. Which one looks nicer?
The woman in the shawls is being quiet and keeping to herself, whereas the other one looks like she might dismiss you, but she's also being the more social.
Yeah, no, she's gonna walk up to the woman in the shawls then.
As I'm like walking the oh no, I would grab your shoulder and like redirect you.
She would like pat. I got this. I have this.
Fine. Was tired of life anyway.
Dinah follows Rebecca invisibly as a ghost.
I'm
I don't
gonna
know
go.
if you can feel that, but she's following you.
I'm gonna head over to the debutante.
She's looking over at my big screen full of spoilers.
I'm trying to get a sneak peek, guys. Strategically. I just wanted to see exactly which parts of me will be fed to Rebecca after talking to Shaw Lady and being uppity.
Alright, and Theo is heading over to the debutante.
Divide and conquer, why not?
So, Theo, you start making your way across the small dancing floor, and just as you approach the brunette with the long, perfectly coiled hair, who has a man and a woman sort of gently leaning on her arms, who she's wearing practically like mink coats. She doesn't turn her attention to you, but you kind of just catch her eye noticing you walk up, and she continues a long, actually boring story about going to an opera, but is of course, trying to explain why it was such a grand event and why everyone wanted to speak with her over the singers at the end.
She seemed very formal.
She definitely has high etiquette. You can tell, even though she's being a bit brash and loud, she otherwise is, catching everyone's eye in the conversation, pausing for people to speak when they want to.
This is a mature stream, right?
Yes.
Theo kind of like walks into the conversation, just listening for a few, nodding along. He goes, that's not the story we want to hear. Tell us about the time you had sex with the head cricket player behind the bleachers.
The whole little gathered crowd, including the debutante, freeze immediately. She slowly...
Huge smile.
She slowly turns her head to you with a bit of a scowl, but when she sees who you are, she gives a tight Barbie doll grin. I'm sorry, I don't think we've been properly introduced. And she even hugs one of her herd a little closer.
Well, if you let go of that toy, I might be able to shake your hand.
Instead of letting go of the young man she was holding, she just slips her arm through his and reaches it out toward you.
I'll go to like shake her hand, but like pretend like confused between the guy that she's holding's hand and her hand. Like, wait, who by? And then shake her hand.
I'm sorry, in this crowd and, with what we're all here for, I'm afraid to lose anybody.
Quite a gaggle you have going on. Very full of life.
Trust me, though, not as much by the end of the night.
No, I do dare say that might be fun to see.
And, I can presume who I'm speaking to, unless I'm wrong.
He'll bow and he is wearing tails, by the way. Of course he is. And he'll grab the tails and do like the female-ish kind of curtsy.
You're just playing a little bit too much into the Joker thing now.
He's still Theo at heart. He's trying.
I know. It was just funny because that's literally what the Joker would do.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, well, lean into it. I'm Mr. B now.
There we go. All right. So, amongst the crowd that were standing near the debutante, is another young woman, and she looks far more impressed. Doesn't say anything, but kind of like puts hand up to her mouth, and whispers to someone, "I can't believe he's here." The debutante, though, after you just let go of her hand, says, "Tessa."
He'll let that hang in the air for a few seconds.
Tessa Adkins of DC. The local harpy.
Yes. My apologies. I'm not quite so formal as to hang out with the social hierarchy as yourself. I do find myself at an ungraceful ignorance right now.
Yes, well, you, as far as I understand, in New Orleans, don't get out much. Little secluded down here, aren't you?
I get out plenty! There's just never anything where I am half the time. Or they die. They have a bad habit of doing that. Well, they come back from the dead, but they are quite fun. I should show you someday. They might not be as well dressed as your friends, but there would be a stark contrast.
She laughs as if she gets the joke and then says, I'm not sure I follow.
The dead. You have lots of living ducklings. I will bring dead ducklings. We shall let them play in the yard. It'll be great fun.
It certainly sounds like it. Anytime you're in DC, please give me a call.
Yes, I will have my secretary take your phone number.
And so as you continue conversing a bit with this lovely debutante who told you her name is Tessa, and Rebecca is slowly sidling her way toward the woman in shawls. Abraham, did you say you were moving?
Yes,
a
I'm
certain
gonna
direction?
go hang out with the ghouls.
Right, okay. Well, we will be back to the boat in a moment.
Nice.
Outside, as Luther is driving this speedboat around, you know, making some circles so he doesn't get too close to the boat. He knows how to follow. Dinah remains on the boat near you in a sort of quiet slumber. Definitely doesn't look dead, just sort of passed out. But as you continue alone for a little while, you hear a bit of a soft caw, and then you start to see a very large albatross just circling around in the sky.
Okay.
After a little while, the albatross lands on the side of the speedboat and turns its head, much like a bird does, to see with both eyes, checking out you and Dinah.
When you say very large, I mean like albatross are big on their own. Is this one abnormally big?
No, but I just wanted to clarify for people who like maybe forget how like they're not seagulls, they're big.
They have a 10-foot wingspan, guys.
Yeah.
You know, they're big. I had to look it up.
Yeah, they'd even
They
like
have one of
this-
the biggest wingspans, I think.
Yeah, and it's a good sized speedboat, but it does actually make the side like kind of go plunk in the water for a
Now-
second.
Is this a southern royal albatross, or what are we dealing with?
African or European albatross.
All right.
It is unladen, though. We do know that.
Oof. Okay. If it's so, it's just looking at me and Dinah.
Yeah, it's kind of sizing you up.
And I'll kind of slow down the boat and look at it. Come on now, Scoop. I don't need you here right now. I'll kind of walk up to him and kind of see if he'll go away.
So as you make the kind of scooting motion at the bird, it stops looking at you and Dinah and seems to stare with the side of its head at the riverboat for a minute. And especially once you slow down a little bit more, in a sort of confusing to watch motion, you see this bird kind of unfoil into the full shape of a man. It's kind of hard to look at directly. It's not like an actual, like the wings turn into arms. It's just sort of a fog of your vision until the person is back.
Well, I had a feeling that you weren't really an albatross. But who are you?
The man has kind of deeper colored skin and loose dreadlocks. He's just wearing a vest over his chest and some dirty jeans, isn't even actually wearing any shoes, and he has a big, toothy smile, and he reaches out a hand toward you. Martin.
Luther. And I'll shake his hand.
I'm one of the gangrel that the prince hired.
I'm Martin Luther.
One that the prince hired. And what exactly did he hire you for?
He just looks over at the boat as if you should have known. He's, here's a scout to help out if anything goes topsy-turvy.
Can I check and make sure that he's telling the truth?
Sure.
What is that again?
For you, it will be... Let's see, so... Come on. Google Drive is being mean to me. You don't actually have any subterfuge, so what I'm gonna do is I'll let you just roll
I
deception.
have 5 points of subterfuge.
I must have a broken...
Yeah, maybe an old one.
Okay,
Yeah.
then manipulation subterfuge. Yeah, because this was before. I think this is the one before we chatted about your sheet. Not too bad.
No, 4 successes.
Alright, so you not only pick up that this guy isn't lying, it follows the everything that the prince explained, but you even get just a really good vibe off the guy. Seems like you can tell because he was hired for this job, it's not necessarily something he's doing out of the kindness of his heart, but he's fully invested in the job. And the fact that he stopped his watching from a safe perch to come and meet you seems a little extra friendly.
Sorry, man. I just, gotta make sure that you are who you say you are and all that. You get tired of flying around, or arms tired?
It takes him a second, but then he laughs at the joke, nods along, and says, "Not so much, but I just wanted to clarify if you see me or my friends around." And just when he says that, you, since the boat slowed down, you actually feel that push when something kind of starts to break surface tension of the water from both sides of the boat, so it rocks a little bit.
Can I? Yeah, I'll look over.
From the sides, and because it's pretty dark, you only see very long figures. But let me see. Go ahead and roll perception alertness.
Two.
All right. It's still a little difficult to make out, but you can kind of tell from the shape, the length of the figures, and the kind of undulating movement they're doing. There might be 2 very large alligator on the sides of your boat.
Well, the prince wasn't playing around, now was he?
Martin laughs, and the 2 figures move off again. Like I said, just wanted to introduce ourselves since we didn't make it the other night.
No, it's all right. I appreciate it. Do you want to go for a ride? And he'll kind of rev it a little bit and look at him.
He laughs and kind of leans more comfortably against the side of the boat and just says, "Just be careful, my friends. They're smart in the water, but you never know." He does turn and look at Dinah and says, "Is she all right?"
Oh, she's better than all right. Yeah, she's just doing whatever she does.
One of them mental using ones.
Mental, yeah, she's pretty mental, I'd say, but she's, she's fine, just fine.
Yeah, I never had a knack for that myself. And in a bit of a show, he'll like kind of stretch out his fingers and they become clawed, very much like you've seen before on a gangrel. Or anyone who uses Protean. You've seen it on Bjorn and Theo when he uses it. But then his hand also starts to grow a little bit of webbing up his fingers.
Well, I've never been much for the mental or for any of what you're doing, but I'm glad that I got you around here, Mon.
Yeah, so let's see where this takes us.
Hopefully nowhere to yes, yeah, let's see where it takes us, Mon. And he'll start going with the boat again.
He laughs again. Oh, I was about to say, what are you, a party pooper?
Come on now, I'm not I just don't want to see anyone get hurt,
Oh, fair enough, I agree, but I didn't travel all this way to hang out with the Debbie Downer all night.
We could play a game if you like. I got my deck of cards with me. You got anything to gamble?
Martin turns his head into the wind and says, aren't they gonna all blow away?
We can figure something out. There's just a few cards.
I brought my lead deck.
It's weighted. Got my weighted plastic cards with me.
Alright, so back on the boat. We're gonna check with Rebecca real quick, who's going into what Theo is worried is dangerous territory, but who knows?
She's the one who's wearing a bunch of shawls where only her eyes are visible, correct?
Yes, she has a long purple dress, the kind of like color that's almost black, like very, very dark plum. And then just like around her waist, around her shoulders, she just has like a whole mix of fashionable cloths and shawls. Doesn't exactly actually look Middle Eastern or Arabic. It just looks like someone who wants to keep their identity a secret, but still be fashionable.
Okay. Yeah, she'll approach.
So the woman stands kind of cocked hip and her arms gently folded together. She seems to have been surveying the room, and as she sees you approach, she doesn't move, but she also doesn't make exact direct eye contact.
That's okay. Rebecca is just gonna walk up and, I have to let you know, I love the shawl. It is so pretty, and the dress too. I just think that, did someone coordinate this, or are you just talented?
The woman takes a calculated pause before responding, but a soft voice that sounds maybe slightly altered, not by a lot, just, maybe a bit of a whisper added to it, says, "Thank you, my dear. Yes, I do take pride in my outfits." She turns her head a little bit so that the one shawl around her hair continues to cover her face well. I'm afraid I don't believe we've met. And she reaches out a hand shyly.
Rebecca will give it like a friendly, like not too firm of a shake, but like a friendly amount, Well, I really do love it. I don't know where you would have even gotten something like this. Like I saw something similar at Target, but really nothing that this is this quality. I wouldn't know where even to get.
I had it made. That's
Well,
the
that
best
would-
way.
That would really account for the difference there. So what brings you here tonight?
She turns her head actually this time and looks. You can see her brows furrowing. Do you not know where we are?
No, I do. I don't know. I've talked to a couple people, and it seems like interests here are varied. I didn't know if you were, like, selling, or I mean, you know.
Her shoulders close in a little bit together, but she nods. No, I'm here for the auction, like most of us. Yes, no, I know some here are just holding the proceedings.
So, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to help me out here. What are you looking for exactly?
Well, probably some of the younger stock. Yourself?
Oh, I'm just here. I'm here with Mr. B, and we're just kind of. It's kind of a night on the town. You know what I mean?
Mr. B?
He's over there with, and he's like, she'll look around, be like, oh, with the loud one, that one.
She looks in the direction you're pointing, spots Mr. B, and looks immediately uncomfortable.
Is everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine. I think I'm going to head upstairs and just wait for the auction.
Can I get, like, shit, is that mind
A
3?
business card?
She kind of wants to know what she's thinking.
Yeah, I'll go with 3. And, I'm gonna say... That's gonna be difficulty 7.
Okay. Two.
Okay. You just trying to get the front thoughts or something specific?
She wants to get the front thoughts. Like, she wants to know, what is this woman thinking as she rushes away?
The general thought on her mind is not wanting to be seen. The image of the Baron and the feeling of the closeness of him to New Orleans makes her uncomfortable.
She'll reach out and try and grab her shoulder.
So you reach out, you get, like, your fingers, like, on one of the shawls, and she snaps around quickly, slapping her hand away. What do you want?
I'm a little concerned why you are upset with my employer. Is there something I should be worried about?
No, and whatever is... It's none of your business. And
I mean, it's a little bit.
She continues stomping away. Dinah, you're hanging around Rebecca, right?
Yes.
Was Rebecca allowed to bring a phone in?
Yes, everyone, like, you were checked for everything when you entered the boat, and the interesting thing was that even when people were found with weapons, they were allowed on board.
Okay. Rebecca's gonna text Luther. Is Dinah a ghosty?
He's gonna text back. I think so.
Is there any way you can ask her to go follow this one lady that looks like she's covered in blankets?
I can still use presents and shit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything
let
on
me
6
just
you
let her
can
know I
use.
can hear.
You can use completely normally. Anything else that is not physical, anything that is emotional or mental, you can use, I think, but you have to start with three successes to succeed.
So do you want to use like awe to let Rebecca know you're there?
I can use mental communication. Like I think that's Auspex. I can use as well.
That's Auspex. You said present, so that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I did. That's true. But I meant Auspex. I just want to be like, yes, I can hear you.
I'm using animalism.
All right. Telepathy is intelligence plus subterfuge against Rebecca's willpower.
It's 8.
Isn't it lower if they're willing?
Right, Rebecca would be willing. She got it.
No, well, okay, so I always agreed with Abraham because you guys set that up. I don't know if Rebecca and Dinah have... Did they do that previously?
I mean, I can roll another
They've done
10.
telepathy before.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? Roll the other 10 just to see what happens. There
Yeah.
you go. Easy peasy. It is...
I still did it.
like I said, as before, it feels more whisper-like. Like a real quiet volume. You might miss a word or something, but otherwise the message will get through.
I can hear you. I'm standing right next to you.
She's she's gonna whisper to no one in particular, with her hand over her mouth. Can you go after her?
Yes.
Hey, thanks. You keep living the dream. Get it? 'Cause you're like asleep.
I got it. I did. I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll go after that lady, I guess. I don't know where this will come from, but what will come from this, but we will see. I'm gonna go be a ghost.
After getting the text from Rebecca, I would be like, Dinah, Rebecca wants you. I don't know if you can hear me, but
I think I can.
go to her. Go to her.
Go to the mage.
Rebecca will text Luther, "Thank you," with like a winky smile, and then sunglasses, cool guy, and then another winky smile.
He'll just send, yep.
So, Rebecca, you're not trailing after her. You're asking Dinah to.
She kind of wants to though. Like she's gonna kind of like.
Don't. If she tries, Dinah will be like, stop.
Yeah, but like, what if she goes to talk to someone?
Then I'll hear it.
Yeah, but you don't have hands right now.
I don't need hands for listening, honey.
Not unless you're Italian.
I just imagine that, like, mother, look with your eyes, not your hands.
It's that time, ladies and gentlemen.
He's on it.
Hey, got a haircut. We'll play during intermission, baby. In the meantime, as Dinah continues following the lady in the shawls, and Rebecca begrudgingly steps back, Theo is busy chatting up a fancy kindred, and Luther is entertaining a very unique gangrel. Abraham, as Peter, is making his way toward a small group of ghouls who are quietly chatting amongst themselves, but definitely still kind of making sure to not be a nuisance or bother their domitors.
I will approach and kind of stand quietly for a second, kind of get a sense of what what they're discussing right off the bat.
So, as you approach, there's a slight lull in the conversation just as someone's joining, but when they look you up and down and get a sense that you're kind of in the same boat, they just give you a friendly nod, and two of them continue chatting, just saying, I hope I don't have to go upstairs this time. Very,
This
very
time,
quietly though. Like this is just a very like kind of quiet,
like
clandestine chat.
But microphone, so speak up. Well, this time, what happened last time? I've never been to something like this before, so.
They all look a bit surprised at you and say, "This is your first auction?"
Yeah.
So one of them in particular snorts through his nose, just, yeah, you better hope you're left down here with the band instead of taken upstairs. They usually don't want us up there anyway, but sometimes, being their and like a couple of them kind of like mutter like servants, ghouls, regnants.
Yeah.
It's not particularly pleasant. I'm much happier, being what I am than just like his eyes go upwards.
But like what would happen? Like, what should I keep an eye out for?
So the one that was speaking to you, it's a younger man, probably just a little past the drinking age. Very short cropped, dark hair, and while dressed nicely, it's not a distinct outfit. It almost looks purposefully just dark and lights so that he doesn't stand out against whoever brought him. He folds his arms and shakes his head. You had your U.S. history, right?
Yeah.
Well, sorry, didn't mean to assume your age.
No,
and a couple of them chuckle to each other.
Yeah. It can be hard to tell, I get that.
Well, besides the modern clothing, it looks pretty much like an old auction block.
Yeah, I'll just sigh and nod.
Another one of them humorlessly chuckles and says, "Wonder if they cleaned the cages this time."
Well, hopefully we stay down here, right?
That's what I'm bidding on. Just gonna push my lady so I'm watching her coat and her purse. Sorry.
Yeah, I am totally willing to kind of fall into that awkward pause of I've gotten my answers, I don't really know what to say.
You do see after a minute of them still like after that admittance from them, it goes a little quiet in the group. You're not the only one, but then they try to pick up the conversation again in an effort to enjoy any of the night, and they just start talking about the cities they've been to recently. You pick up that a lot of these kindred, certainly all of them are from well out of town, but often probably travel a fair bit, don't tend to necessarily stay in one spot too long, or they've got several different homes and jobs and places. And at one point, the older Asian man that you'd spotted earlier back in the parking lot snaps his fingers, and a young girl that was in the group, also of, it looks like maybe mixed Asian descent, but her lighter skin tone and crescents around her eyes shows that kind of ancestry. She goes running off without a word.
Yeah. So kind of what I'm listening for in this group is I'm trying to hopefully piece together who has like who came here for the auction and who came here with the auction.
Right. Okay.
Like
As
if anyone mentions like setup or when we ran this last time or small phrases like that.
As the conversation was going on about not wanting to go upstairs and see the auction in person, the younger Asian girl who just ran off didn't respond, but you saw like her shoulders shake in a memory empathetic way. So you can infer that she's probably here with someone for the auction. The rest of the group also seem like they're with kindred that are here for the auction. No one sounds like they've been on the boat before before the
Okay.
dock. But you
All
do
right.
see other non-guests scattered around the room, either like one or two waiters. There's still the security guards. There's at least 4 that you can see. They're like kind of posted along the doors.
All right. So yeah, for most of the conversation, I'm gonna be a little bit quiet, dropping like an occasional like slightly nervous assent. I'm looking a little bit jumpy, but I am curious if I can first thing I'm going to do is I want to aura perception one of the guards. I want to see if they are human, ghoul, or vampire.
Sure. So go ahead and make that roll. Difficulty 7.
I think I upped that.
I think you did, yeah. Perception, empathy.
Yeah. Versus what? 6, right?
7.
Or 7. Yeah.
I'll give you an option.
I know it
Either-
doesn't count. I still like to.
I'm gonna give you an option. Either you can know a whole lot about one of the guards, or I'll allow you to do like a scan of the guards and check like all 4 of them for being kindred.
I want to know a whole lot about one of them.
Okay. There is one posted by kind of that entrance that was between the ramp to the boat, the hallway that led up and down, and this room. There's one by a set of stairs that leads to the balcony that's kind of surrounding the room. And then there's another one by the stage and one on the balcony next to a door that looks like it leads to the 2nd floor area.
Yeah, that last one.
Okay. Let me look at my colors. Alright, so as you check out this gorilla in a black sweater and black jeans, holding a semi-auto and his, little walkie-talkie up on his shoulders. He's leaning against the door that leads to the upper parlor. Immediately, as the colors in his aura start to come into focus, you do notice their shade is paler than human, so he is definitely kindred. And you're picking up these, like, really terrible colors. It's kind of like dark brown mixed with dark green. There's a couple different shades of green. And as you're reading this, you're definitely picking up there's sort of a bitter attitude. Maybe it's, being on this job, maybe it's the boat, maybe he doesn't actually like what's going on, but was needed to be here. But there's also definitely envy and just sort of like a heinous feeling of like he doesn't like the people here. Very
All right.
disgruntled. And all of this is like kind of modeling through, so not anxiety, like nervous, but there's a bit of uncomfortable energy. On the outside, however, he looks calm.
All right, cool.
Now, just after Abraham got to hear some of this and checks out the guard, the woman in the shawls is actually taking the stairs in the first room up to the balcony toward that door. So Dinah, as you follow her, you also see this guard from the outside. He does not look as disgruntled as Abraham picked up, but he also looks bored, not like he's enthused to be here. But the woman walks up, speaks quietly to him, and he opens the door for her.
Okay. I'm gonna just go through the door.
So, as you follow the woman in the shawls into the second floor parlor, what you see is it's enclosed. This doesn't have any of like the windows that even the first parlor does into the hallways, so you can get like some natural light. This is a very closed in area. Very similar design to downstairs. It has hardwood and some nice like antique benches lined along it. And there's a chandelier and the walls are finely painted. But the most stark, immediate thing to come to your attention is that the way of the parlor, with the benches making almost a church-like set of pews, is a small stage with a podium set off slightly to the side, and there are two large cages on each side of the stage, thick steel bars with a roof and bottom. There are two guards, one set in front of each, their rifles at the ready, and in one there are 5 people, slumped, looking tired. You can kind of almost immediately tell one of them looks like they're near frenzy. They're just twitchy and look as though they haven't fed. It's a sign you've seen to never forget. While the other cage has about 7 people. They're the same size cage, so they're actually really scrunched up together. These people seem similarly just tired and out of it, almost like their spirit's been drained. And in the face of one of them, you also see like the slight early signs of desperate hunger, but much more confusion following it. The lady in the shawls just takes a seat in one of the back pews quietly.
Okay. I want to stick around to see if I overhear anything for a minute.
So as you float essentially in the room, taking in the sight of the people in the cages and the auction block, one of the guards doesn't immediately walk up to the woman, but slowly approaches her, not too close, but kind of standing at the end of a bench, and says, "Ma'am, are you alright?" She looks up at him and nods quietly. "Yes, I'm just waiting for this to get over with. I don't understand why we need so much pageantry beforehand." The guy gives a slight shrug and half of a laugh just to, not put her out of her way for talking to him, but then nods and starts walking back to the cage, just muttering, "Let me know if you need anything."
Okay.
Go ahead and give me a perception alertness roll at 5.
Three.
Okay. Out of all the people in the left cage, the one with more people, about 7, you don't recognize any of the faces. But as you linger in the room, waiting to see if the woman in the shawls is going to say anything more, or the security guards are going to say anything, you get a better glimpse into the cage with the fewer people, and you immediately recognize Teresa and Philippe, who are 2 of your kind of out-of-town friends. You tend to see them around Mardi Gras, and you remember that they were on the original list of missing people, missing kindred.
Okay. Is there any kind of behind the scenes door? Does it look like anyone here is in charge?
Just behind the cage with the 7 people is another door that seems to lead out of here.
Okay. Dinah is gonna force herself away from the cages and go looking for whoever it looks like is in charge of this.
If you follow out that back door, you find that it leads to another staircase, and following that down, you end up back in the hallway that you first passed into to get into the first. So now you have an understanding of the layout. Is there is a hallway on the first floor that has doors leading into the main parlor, the largest area, and there's basically 2 entrances to the second floor.
I don't know. They were flexing. So
I saw.
But yeah. Is there any sort of what looks like maybe like a private room where the person who runs this would be? Like a smoking room or like a deck up on top? Like, I'm gonna use this invisible mobility while I can.
So basically, as Dinah continues her ghostly tour of the ship, you get to know that there is the entrance from the dock leads you into a hallway that right across goes into the first parlor. If you took a right, that's the stairways you just came down that lead up into that second parlor, or you go in the first and go up to the balcony. When you take a left down that hallway on the first floor, you find 3 small cabins, like just about a twin-size bed in each, and a little like desk and a little dresser just to put some clothing, obviously for guests that are staying over, or if this was like a smaller cruise kind of thing. And in 2 of them, there are some clothing and like little accoutrements. So in the one room, you find a locked briefcase and a couple notebooks. The other like suitcase that's in there is sitting on the bed. It's closed, but it looks nice. It looks like it's got initials on it. Looks like whoever owns this one has some money, doesn't splurge like crazy. It's not like Louis Vuitton, but it's a nice, well-made suitcase. And everything looks well-made. Like if you use the bed, it's been made again. Well-clean room. The second room has some clothes already like thrown around, and an even smaller suitcase with some tattered jeans and old black t-shirts. Not much else. There's like a comb on the desk, and that's about it.
Okay. You can't touch anything, right?
Not in your ghostly form. I will also tell you on the suitcase you saw the letters AC for the initials.
Okay.
Arthur Curry, it's Aquaman.
What?
No, it's Assassin's Creed.
Arthur Curry is what I said.
Yeah, the main character, Assassin's Creed. That's his name.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Creed.
No.
Someday I'll troll you guys that bad.
No. So basically, she's okay. So this is good, but she's looking for if there are more gatherings of what looks like guards, if there's someone who seems to be more like in charge, like either working the crowd or like doing logistics. I mean, basically, she just keeps searching for whoever looks like they're going to be in charge, and she wants to tail them.
All right. So any more exploration of the boat is going to show you that it's not a huge ship. It is a riverboat, so you've seen most of it. The only thing that you've missed, and at this point you've seen that most of the people are in that main parlor or in that second one. Floating up a little bit more, you do find the captain's deck, in which there is an old man. He's got like kind of a scruffy white beard, and his hair is a mix of white and gray, cropped, kind of close, and not done very well. It looks like he might have even cut his own hair, and he just looks kind of bored, like he's just doing another day at the job. There's a half-empty bottle of whiskey sat very close by, but he seems otherwise relatively sober. He's focused.
All right, that's not who I'm looking for. I'm gonna go leave him alone.
The main thing I'd say at this point is that Maggie was the one to at least do the introduction for the night. You don't know if she's the actual headliner, the person in control of all of it, but you know that she introduced the evening.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna float back to. I'm gonna actually hop back to where Luther is.
Okay. So, you hop back into your body on the speedboat, where you find Luther sitting with a stranger.
Oh, not in the body. I still want to just talk to him. I still want to keep this up because I want to go back. But,
sure.
Yeah. I don't
then you linger backwards and you float over the river, and you see Luther sitting in the boat with a stranger, trying to make the best of a card game with, whatever heavyweights they have in the boat.
She just kind of that's Luther. And, otherwise, she's gonna try to communicate mentally with him. What's your willpower, Luther?
A lot.
But are you used to me talking to you? I don't know. I feel like that's more of an.
I'm okay with us saying that you guys prepped this because Dinah was like, I'm going to be trying to talk to you guys. But still a high willpower. Let's go 7.
8.
I am rolling so good on these. I'm happy.
Yeah. Dinah was meant to be a ghost. Spooking everybody.
Yeah, you should have. You should.
Phantom over here.
You should have built a wraith. I'm just saying.
Are me and Martin actually gambling anything, or are we just playing for fun?
Martin didn't have anything on him, and it said he didn't bring anything to the city, but he said he might catch you later for it.
Okay. What you gonna say, Dinah?
Luther, can you hear me?
he's just gonna say it out loud because he's not sure if he could just think it. Yeah, Dinah, I can hear you.
Martin's head pops up and just kind of looks between you and the body.
Wait, is everything all right? What's going on?
I have found where they're keeping people. I've found a couple of the missing kindred. They got them locked in cages up on the top deck.
Oh.
They're near frenzy.
Oh. Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can find the one in charge. and tell them and see if they speak at all of anyone else that might be running this.
All right. Well, I'm assuming they're not going to be just wearing a sign that says, I run this. So, I don't know. There has to be some kind of auctioneer or something like that they have to be speaking to. So, master
I'm trying to find
ceremonies,
them
maybe.
before the auction actually starts, because then people start dying.
Right. But, I mean, I don't know. Is there any way to even stop this?
That's my question. I don't know. Not without potentially losing who made this.
Oh. I mean, that wasn't our plan to stop this. You know, we're just here to find who's collecting all the money and who's snatching people up. So, God, in cages, you say?
Mm-hmm. They got 5 or 6 of them in each one.
How many people are in there all in all?
About 12.
No, not the cages. In the boat. Gods. How many people?
How many? I don't know. Estimate.
With the kindred you noticed, they're ghouls, couple waiters, and at least like 6 guards. About 30.
About 30 or so.
Martin, how many crocs you got? How many birds are flying? What are our numbers looking like?
Martin raises an eyebrow, obviously a little weirded out by the conversation, but not too bad. He says, I mean, it's me, Audrey, and Will, if we're just referring to us Gangrel, and then, Prince told me he had, what were their names? Anthony, Christopher, Jake, I think, and Roxy, of course, who came and got us, so it's about 7 of us not on this boat. Well, besides me.
Dinah, can you hear what he just said, or do I have to relay everything?
I heard it.
All right. Well, as far as our odds go, they're not standing in our favor, you know.
I'm gonna go inform the others.
Hey, real quick, Dinah.
Yeah.
Real quick question just for the storyteller, or if I missed the detail, were the cages actually dirty?
No, they were actually clean. Not, like maybe like a bit of rust, but not like filthy gross.
But did it look like the people were dirty?
They look like they were probably not like, probably been in the same clothes for a while. Now they're kindred, so that doesn't impart as much dirt and grime as a person, but yeah, no, it looks like they haven't been exactly like, if they were human prisoners watered and fed, as kindred doesn't look like they've really been fed or tended to more than absolutely necessary.
I would give that Dinah, looking at the situation and remembering the cellar, might probably infer that Theo might not handle this scene that well.
Yeah. Yes.
So you might want to inform anyone that this is tough.
Yep. No, she's seriously debating not telling Theo until the last possible second.
Well,
So-
Dinah, you can take a second to think about that, because we're going to take a little break. So, as always, if you have questions about the game or anything, you can feel free to ask us in the chat. Let us know how you're doing on this Tuesday night. We'll chat for a couple minutes about this and that, and then we'll be right back to it.
Yeah, she's going to Abraham next.
Yeah, I was like, when she said hopefully they clean the cages this time, I was like, when Spirit said that, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna backup character ready.
I know. I saw that. Dinah is this fucking close, but she's like, I'm a ghost, luckily. Like, that literally puts a cool on my head. Like, I can't do anything right now. If I pop back to try to do something, it'll take me forever to get to the boat because I'm on a different boat. Like, all right. Okay, I got this.
And as much as Abraham would like to do something about it, he also feels very specifically responsible for Peter, so he's not going to do anything specifically stupid.
Theo has no
Rebecca
such
might do some dumb shit. Like,
I was gonna say Theo has no such responsibility to his own body.
Yeah, right? Hey, so quick question. What are we drinking?
Ooh.
This is really gross. Don't buy this.
Nice.
I'm having this wonderful drink by not sponsored.
I'm having Ruben's Killing something? Killinger?
Just-
It's like a IPA that we got at the
I don't know. Maybe if you like IPAs, you would like this. It's mead. It's carbonated mead, basil lemongrass, carbonated mead.
It's gonna sound really
Not good.
snobby, but
I've got another thematic drink. Smoke on
Ooh.
Nice.
It kind of tastes like liquid smoke if liquid smoke were a beer. Like it's
that's
all
weird.
right.
fun.
It
does
tastes
it?
like
Have you tasted liquid smoke on its
It
own?
tastes like I'm licking like burning wood.
That
There you
sounds
go.
fun. But
Like it's not the worst. It's not actively bad. It's just odd.
The most ninja of Toads has a really interesting question. Any characters you guys have really wanted to make but abandoned the idea for whatever reason?
Yes.
Yeah, lots.
I know we all have. All right, but pick the like main
Yeah,
one.
no,
We're still kind of sad we didn't play.
I know specifically which one. I guess so. I had just because I like the idea of a Oh shit! What is the child of a vampire called?
A child of a
Dhampir.
A child? Oh.
No, a Dhampir. Like I had a
an
Dhampir that I
actual
was almost gonna
child.
play in a text game, and like I liked the concept, and I think Dhampir are cool in theory, if not necessarily specifically in VTM, and I like the concept. But like I looked at it and I'm like, that's a little snowflake even for me. I'm gonna have to give him a hard pass, as much as I think the character's cool. Though a little bit of him is in Abraham because he was very dominate heavy.
I really wanted to play a mummy, and then Spirit told me that I couldn't.
No mummies, no Crisis-itude.
Yeah, but that's you didn't abandon the idea. You were just told no.
No, that was a joke. I was when we first started playing, I wanted to play a Nosferatu, and then everyone's like, "For your first time, no man, don't do it. It's gonna be way above your head. You can't handle it. Like it's just gonna be craziness, and shit's gonna fall off the walls." So I never got to play it, and then fucking Rev got to play one. So I was like, "Well, this is just bullshit," and that's how Roland was made.
Well, I know we're going back to New York eventually, but maybe the next time we have you roll one up, we'll have you do a Nosferatu.
No, my next character is going to be a murder Somali. so Nosferatu has to be 2 from now.
No, okay.
I know. I almost created a character with sanguinary animism when Spirit invited me to New York by night, and I'm like, I could. That'd be an interesting thing where he tries to feed mostly on animals, and then Elvish made Kim, and I was like, oh, well, fuck it. I know a Toreador who likes cars, and I do not regret that.
Being the best
Fucking
character
second.
ever.
I had a similar thing, man. I made a character concept for New Orleans before I found out I jumped ship and played a mate, but like the character concept that I made was basically Dinah, but not Dinah. So like that was also a reason why I abandoned the concept, because she was like a songwriter.
I shift pretty easy on my character concepts, so like I've never had one where I really feel like I've missed out. But I've had a few, but I'm pretty happy with everything I've rolled so far. So not yet, but I'm still probably the newest to role playing in this group.
I think the funny thing is, after or before he made Ike, he was about to make like a 70-year-old human who got turned And then he did he switched it around. I was like, no, I'm gonna do a kid.
No, yeah, it was a 75-year-old human who got turned as a caitiff, and he was actually a what do you call it? He wanted to collect all the disciplines. Like, just that's it. He didn't want to master them. He just wanted to have 1 point in every discipline. That was like his goal. But real quick for Chris's one, I did skip it. I apologize. With the mention of the cellar, how apeshit is Theo gonna go? So here's the thing: is Theo is so ready to go apeshit, but he's not gonna endanger all his friends' lives. Basically, let's be happy Bjorn's not there, or yes. Now it's a maybe I might have to make a humanity willpower. Either he needs to succeed at willpower and lose humanity, or he's going to go apeshit.
And for Wooden Monkey God's question about playing 5e yet, I am playing in a game right now with another group. When that's released, I'll make announcements about it and tell you guys where to go check it out. Hopefully it doesn't fall through. That's why I'm not talking about it too much. But another channel I'm working with, hopefully all of that gets finished. Should be a short campaign, but I've got to try it out now. Really liking it. Character creation is similar, but I really like some of the things they've added, which can even be like kind of optional. You don't have to choose them for your character, but I think they help a new player flesh things out a lot easier than when I already knew a lot about VTM. I could make like a fully fledged character really easily. New people are like, well, I don't understand this part. And the meta plot is pretty fun. So yeah, I'll let you guys know in the Discord and announce it here later on when that's all wrapped up. And of course, as I've mentioned, I am looking to do a game of our own coming up. We've got some like weddings and holiday stuff coming up and work things, so maybe not in the next month, but I'm hoping by November to have something ready.
Yeah, for Most Ninja of Toads, he wasn't a jack of all trades so much as a collector of knowledge, and he saw all the disciplines as knowledge to be gained. He figured he just wanted, because he's a caitiff, he agreed that he belonged nowhere, so he figured I will be the most vampire of all vampires in some really dumbass, misguided, gotta catch 'em all kind of way.
So it dawns on me. This thematic beer that I grabbed, I realized I didn't grab it because it was thematic. I grabbed it because it looked good, and then found out that it was thematic.
Also, it's been a long time, SCB, so I'm pretty sure you have to read the quotes. It's been a long time since we made you voice act for us on stream.
That is not your prep face. Don't ever
what
make
is that?
prep face
Your guys'
again.
prep face again. So you get the throw. Listen.
You gotta get quiet and get into the mic, though. It is NPR.
This is NPR, and you are listening to Smooth Jazz After Midnight with your host, Luther.
When are we getting our bedtime stories?
Ugh. So I need to edit my new cooking channel, and Rev hit me up today about talking about doing game reviews with him. So it's just like, I got so much. And then when am I going to get Sunshine's part for her part
for the story? For the
story.
Well,
How about that? When I get your part, I'll start doing nighttime stories.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll set a date. We'll find a good Saturday or something to do that up.
Yes, please.
All right, we got everybody back, so let's get back into the game. Last time, on New Orleans by
Dragon
Night.
Ball Z.
Thank you. I can't do that voice. I could do all the Nosferatus in the world, but... So, currently, Luther's on a boat with Martin, one of the gangrel that's been hired to help out with this mission. Dinah was hanging around explaining what was going on, and worked out that she needed to actually go inform the rest of the group exactly what's going on, what's upstairs, and especially prep them for what they're going to see. Abraham was getting a couple clues about which of the kindred are definitely here for the bidding and which of the people standing around are just staff. Theo got to know a bit about this debutante who's definitely been a bit of a show-off, but has shown some core etiquette that's better than just like, the cheaper harpies he may have run into now and then. And Rebecca has gotten a few leads, gotten to talk to a couple people, gotten some names certainly. So that's definitely something. All right, let's pick it back up with Dinah, who's going to be floating back into the ship and figuring out who and what to tell people.
Also, Theo does, before we move on too far, Theo does want to talk to the girl that recognized him and was like, when he introduced himself to the pompous, whatever, 6-foot tile pile of shit.
Oh, okay.
In a dress.
So you turn to the woman that did sort of recognize you. She's got like short.
She's not one of the herd, is she?
No. She looks like she's also in height of fashion. She's been talking with the others that are obviously there for the auction. She's got short styled, slightly punky, bright red hair. And while she is in a dress, it's much more like short black cocktail, whereas some of the others had, nice floor length dresses. Has a little more kind of attitude to her, but also seems younger as she shrank back from the conversation when some of these other, like, elders or stately people were speaking.
I walk over and smile and hold my hand out.
She looks rather delighted and does reach out to shake your hand. You do remember our conversation last time? You're in Mass.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind. He would go to, like, hold his hand out, then, like, tilt his head, think better of it, pull it back, and go, you understand, right?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. And it doesn't look like she entirely understands, but she says yes anyway.
It's the makeup, that's all. It starts to run when I come in contact with people. Not that I would not be honored to touch one such as yourself.
Not a problem, my, Lord?
Oh, please, that's not necessary. I do love your hair, though.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to be here tonight.
Where else would I be? There's a party in my bayou.
Yes, but I heard when I asked that you're not seen often, so I just figured that wouldn't be my luck.
Well, when is the last time you saw me?
Never. I'm not from New Orleans.
Well, then we can count this as not often. What is such a bright flower as yourself doing in such a dark, stuffy place? And he'll make like a glance over to the woman in like disdain. The frilly lady.
The frilly lady totally, catches your derisive attitude and gives you a half-lidded sneer. She's a friend of mine. I invited her.
The harpies, they don't like me much. I'm not very good at social gatherings, unless they're in graveyards.
The girl with the red hair giggles and puts a hand behind her neck. I haven't been to one of these before, but Tessa invited me. Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Maya Rose.
Yes, nice to meet you, Maya Rose.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
And did you come along for any specific purpose?
She glances sidelong at Tessa, who
He's
catches
gonna
her.
lean to like keep his eye line.
You see Tessa's eye catch hers, but she doesn't say anything. Maya Rose turns back to you and says, as I said, Tessa was the one who invited me. I was considering bidding, but I don't know yet.
I don't know if this would be maybe an empathy check. Is this something she's really into? Like, does she seem like she's evil in that? Not evil, nasty. We're gonna put it that way. That's how Theo looks at these people. Nasty.
Nasty.
They're nasty.
Yeah, go ahead with a perception empathy roll.
That first roll of the night always takes a little extra long. Yet.
Jesus.
Can I try it one higher? Much better.
Hi, puppy.
5 successes.
Okay. So immediately, yeah, you don't pick up that nasty, jaded elder who performs diablerie, definitely more than once vibe off of this young girl. She's a little hard to read. She's definitely excited, but you're wondering if there is some added naivete, like what exactly she understands about this. Now, you can certainly infer from the way she's been talking, she does understand what's going on. So, at least you can consider that she understands people here are here to buy people and essentially eat them. But there's something slightly missing from her that you felt off of everybody else.
Cool. I will probably just continue chatting with her and maybe enjoying aggravating Princess Flufflepuffs over there.
Alright, I'm calling dibs on my next hamster. Alright, Dinah, you've returned to the boat. You see specifically Abraham amidst a group of what looks like the ghouls, because of their simpler dress. You see Rebecca trailing away from the stairs, and Theo in a group of obviously the actual guests.
I'm gonna go look for Abraham.
Alright, he is still standing amongst a few members on the boat that look like they came as ghouls, servants, drivers, something of the sort.
Okay. I'm gonna float over to him and talk to him.
Ooh.
20. What do I roll for that?
I thought we established that ours is like.
Yeah, actually, I have no
So
problem
funny.
with you and Abe because we've talked about this enough that you guys are connected on that. It was still roles for the others who were only, told about this a couple days ago.
It's because we're the two people with built-in telepathy. So
Yeah.
we practiced with each other.
Abraham?
Yes.
Are you saying that out loud in front of
No,
people?
I am not.
Oh, that's right. You can do it mentally back. Okay. Cool.
Yep, because I have telepathy.
Cool. Have you gotten any idea about who might be in charge here?
Well, I know that they are. They do not seem to have any ghouls in their service. It seems to all be kindred. The guards are all kindred, and that one there, and I'll kind of describe that one there is very disgruntled, does not want to be part of this, is not interested in much of this, is bitter. So I don't exactly know what we can do with that, but it is definitely good information to have.
There are 12 people upstairs in cages. I recognize a few of them.
I am sorry.
I want to know who is in charge so that we don't come away from this empty-handed.
Yes, I agree. Perhaps if you could let Theo know to bring me upstairs, specifically to call me over, because the ghouls are not typically expected to go up there, so I will need an excuse.
I see.
And
I'm a bit hesitant. Tell him because of what happened before. I don't think we will be able to get anything if he knows.
Unfortunately, if the Baron does not go upstairs, people might know something is amiss.
I'm hoping to find out before it starts.
All right.
If I don't, I'll let him know.
All right. I suppose I can try and redouble my efforts. Hi, Cat.
Just a real quick into what it definitely he would know about Theo. Theo reacts like gut reaction quickly to new things, so easing him into it, if it has to happen, is probably the much better course of action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cat. Yes, I will redouble my efforts. Try and figure out any suggestion on any. Do you have any leads at all?
Only the little one that introduced the proceedings. She either is in charge or knows who is.
Yeah. Okay. Start back over from only the little one. My cat ripped my headphones out of my ear.
I said only the little one who started off and announced the proceedings. She either is in charge or knows the one who is.
All right. And is she around, Spira?
Yeah, you've seen her milling around. She's not being as social as some of the others. Some of them like obviously look like they're even catching up, like they know each other. They've maybe even met before at other auctions, or like, you know, this definitely isn't their first rodeo. But she's being a little quiet. Just kind of walking around a lot, stopping by one or two people, listening to their conversation, adding a note, saying something, and then moving on. Definitely watching the crowd.
All right. So I know a while back when we played, you mentioned that people could kind of get a sense of generation up or down. Do I have any sense with this chick?
Just looking, you can usually see by sallowness of skin is a good giveaway, but they don't all have that. So it's like an immediate giveaway if they're like really, really pale. Not to bring up a different game, but Lily is, you know, kind of marble white. But there you do know also that elders, if they focus on keeping their humanity, or they have blush of health, or they use blood to hide it, it might not be obvious from the outside. If you use perception awareness, and or at least have high dots in it without a roll, being near the person will definitely give off a stronger vibe of just like a little like almost like even shudder at how old they are. They have a presence, not the discipline.
Yeah, okay. Then I will respond to Dinah. I could try and dominate her, but the problem is this only works on those of newer generation than myself. I have never been able to get it to work on someone older than me.
Abe, as a note for Abraham, if you wanted to just walk by her and roll your perception awareness, I can let you know more.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So I say that to her. Hopefully get a couple of people that might try for some generation sensing shenanigans.
I think Theo might be our best bet trying to find out who's in
And
charge.
I think I will go to him.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna go follow around the little girl.
yeah,
You could.
and then in response, I'm going to out loud say, yes, sir. Of course, sir. And then kind of excuse myself and head off in the direction of Theo.
The ghouls in the small group just nod at you with a kind of camaraderie. Just...
I feel like I'm playing undercover boss right now.
Not gonna lie, I kind of made this part of the story based on video games that it's like either it's all stealth or you have to fight everybody. Not necessarily, but that was the idea. Is like if you do the stealth, you could if you do well, you can get a lot of information. What happens when the zombie dog comes out?
All I'm saying is like if they manage to put Theo in the room with the orchestrator, he's perfectly happy limiting combat to that one room.
Yeah, you can still do stealth fights.
Hopefully the barbarian rage doesn't come out of Theo, but whatever. Someone like have a mute spell ready, just like shut Theo up, dominate him so he can't talk.
What generation are you?
Press X for stealth kill.
I think
Because I feel like, yeah, and I think you can dominate someone of the same generation. So like, if I have to, I can shut you down. You just won't like it.
that'd be one hell of a contested roll. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Let me know when you approach.
Yeah. So basically,
also would
I am
depend if he was
the-
in frenzy, because dominate doesn't really work in frenzy.
Yeah, so I'd have to shut it down first.
So what are you checking, Abraham?
I am headed over to the
Maggie.
Baron. The Baron.
Oh, the Baron. Okay, so
Yes.
you're walking up to Theo.
Theo will catch you coming and like motion you over kind of excitedly.
Yes, sir. And
He'll smile and then look at the woman he's talking to. This is my very dear, at this point, friend. Not that I keep many, but he has been trustworthy for so long. I am excited to introduce you to, what was her name? Lily? Rose?
Maya Rose.
This is Miss Maya Rose.
I will look down at the ground, kind of avoiding eye contact, but give a bit of a smile.
Theo will check you. Up, into the eyes.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Maya Rose puts out a hand for you to shake. Theo, you totally catch Tessa rolling her eyes. But Maya does go to shake your hand.
Yeah. And I will be a little bit surprised by how cold her hand is, because I am used to being the cold one in the handshake. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I have blush of health, so...
I thought you were a human man.
No, I have blush of health. Abraham has blush of health.
Blush of health makes you feel warm to others.
Yeah.
Actually feeling it's still going to be a little different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, so you're going to have normal human warmth, blood pumping in your veins. That's different.
Yeah.
What was Theo's body's name? Simon something?
What? Peter.
Peter, that's good, Peter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Peter. How can I help?
I will lean over, secret between Domitor and Regnant. And it sounds like our best bet is probably the little girl in terms of finding out who is, like, as quietly as I can.
He'll smile and like cut you off. I was very interested in that. Well, Miss... God damn it, how?
Maya Rose.
Lily keeps popping into my head. Sorry.
It's flowers.
It's my
It's 'cause
crush.
flowers.
It's my crush. I can't help it. I like this girl too. Theo was like, "Can I have this one? I want this one. Bring her home." Well, I am so pleased to meet you. What a bright flower you are in this place, and I do hope to see you around. If you're around the city, I hope you'd allow me to maybe find you and offer you a nice drink. I assure you, I have the best sommeliers.
While there's no color to her cheek, you definitely see that, like, pinch around the eyes and the cheeks that is indicative of her blushing.
Do, like I said, hang around if you would. Yes, Peter, please. I understand. Social obligations. And I'll kind of look back at Maya. Without him, I would just be a bumbling fuckhead. And I'll follow Peter to the girl.
So,
Okay, cool.
yeah, Maggie is socializing and flitting around, not talking to too many people for too long. At this point, you actually see that she's heading toward the stage again.
We're going to try to catch her before she goes up.
So, little footsteps. You approach her quickly, and she immediately turns around before you even say anything and looks up. Oh, Baron, I saw that you were here tonight. It's a pleasure. Sorry, need to do my little girl voice.
What is
Can
the
I-
empathy roll? Is it something subterfuge? Intelligence subterfuge, I think.
For
Telepathy. Me or something else?
I want to send a message to you. Telepathically.
it is intelligence, subterfuge, willpower points. What are your willpowers? Let me see.
I would say that I'm open to him. This is not the first time.
You got
You
lower
got
willpower
lower
anyway.
anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say 3. So,
Abraham, you don't even need to roll.
All right, cool. Then I will let him know. I need to know if her generation is above or below ours.
so can I read? I'm going to go for 2 reads. One, does it seem like she's acting like I know her? So social role of some variety, like does she act like she knows me or we've met before, or does she know of me? And second, try to suss out if she's higher or lower on the totem pole than us.
Okay, so recognizes you. Let's go with perception, empathy.
Three successes.
She definitely knows who you are, and there was a tiny smirk at the corner of her mouth.
Friendly smirk, combative smirk, frenemy smirk. I'll roll again for the type of smirk.
Need a smirk roll.
Is this like daggers in their teeth kind of smile?
Ooh, I'm just trying to decide what it falls under best. Perception alertness.
I hate alertness rolls because it means fucky shit is going on.
No, not awareness, alertness.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no.
Awareness means fucky shit's going on.
4 successes.
Knowing smirk.
Okay, you failed to clarify any further.
The side of her mouth curled a little bit, for use of the right word, fucky, when she said Baron.
Alright, whatever.
Actually, I feel like I might catch that as well. I'ma also look at that.
All right, go ahead and do the same roll.
Difficulty 6.
We're gonna do 7 for you, just because
Okay.
Theo is worried about his disguise, so he's actually
Okay.
like,
Can I roll two?
1, 2,
Yeah, I'm
3,
just
4,
invisible.
5.
yep. Everybody
5
find
successes.
out.
Yay!
Everybody
Oh,
find out.
I'm sorry. It was int plus subterfuge.
No, I haven't. That was perception alertness to see that she knows that something is up.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
She's aware something is fucky.
Yeah, that is 5 successes on
Yep.
that.
Yeah, you
Am I
totally
allowed
caught it
to
too.
roll for this?
I don't think you're nearby.
Okay, then that's fine.
But you got your friends know, so. All right, Dinah, you're watching nearby. You're not maybe even sure exactly as clear as Theo and Abe are, but you're like, their energy's getting a little tense around this group.
And then perception awareness to get a generation rating. Difficulty 6.
Same thing. What is it?
Perception awareness.
What even with this roll?
You got
2
one
10s
10,
and
though.
2 1s.
Oh wait, no.
I didn't. I got a 9.
Okay,
I got
you
a 9.
All right.
Difficulty 6 as well.
Mm-hmm.
3 successes. What the fuck?
I'm gonna tell you guys, both you and Abe, you know she's old. You know, probably at least around your age and generation, but you can't tell anything more. It's just kind of the strength of her presence that you know you have and you felt around people similar.
For telepathy, what are the rules for communicating back? Can he like sense my thoughts? Do I have to say it out loud?
If I open the channel, I can read your mind.
I'd say right now, because Abe is kind of already there, yes. If Abe was across the room and wasn't expecting it, no.
Yeah, it's because I just opened the channel.
Is it that I can talk to him, or I can just think things and he can hear them?
He's currently zoned into your thoughts. Again, like I said, like if he was like somewhere else or just walked up to you, no. But you
Okay,
guys
but
are
it's
just
just-
talking.
It's not like Zibs
that I-
and Elbridge, where they can actually
Yeah.
just flat out have conversations.
Yeah.
I can read your thoughts.
I'm just gonna think, the knowledge of that is, our age, our build, probably a little more wicked, and definitely knows something's wrong.
I'm sorry, Baron, was there something you wanted?
Oh, sorry. I would like bow and no, I just wanted to talk to the lady of the evening. It's a wonderful, wonderful show to put on. I do love the clothes.
Or did you mean like her dress?
Yeah, her whole garb.
She looks down at her white lacy dress. Thank you, Baron. It's one of my favorites. I've had it for a very long time. Takes a lot of work to keep something this old put together, but I'm sure you know about that.
I'm very sure that you've most certainly inspired nightmares and stories cautioning, stray children in the night. The creepy girl thing is very, very well done from someone who has used such a guise myself. Not creepy girl.
I appreciate that, I think. It sounds like one of
one
your
of-
compliments.
Oh, compliments for sure. When she says sounds like one of your nope, I'm a zone in on that. Sorry to make you roll for this whole fucking conversation. When she says one of your compliments, is that a Theo compliment or a Baron compliment?
You got some good rolls. I'm gonna say one of Baron's.
Okay, cool. I did just want to say hello and was wondering, are you going to be with us throughout the night?
Oh, of course. I was, in fact, and she motions toward the stage, just about to announce that we should be heading upstairs soon.
Oh, my deepest apologies. I did not mean to keep you from your official duties. I just wish to say hello.
No, of course. But if you'll excuse me, and we can, of course, chat some more at the after party.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So she begins heading up towards the stage. Once she gets up there, you see her actually take a very small little, like, kind of like hand radio and says something into it.
I want to follow her. I'm invisible. What does she say?
Theo is going to be thinking loudly, Auspex! Auspex!
Fine.
Yeah, Abraham,
I
you're
am-
already good.
I still have listening up. What does she say? Also, Auspex.
Sorry, what was that?
We're all listening really hard with our vampire ears.
Still have vampire
My
ears.
vampire
Also,
ears.
or a perception.
Okay. Wait. So you want to do our perception and have
And
your...
also, I still have not taken my ears down.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Those can both be done.
Yes.
So go ahead, aura perception on her. 7. And as you're listening, you hear her say, slow the boat. That's all she says.
I will relay that. Jesus, one success. Yep, she has an aura.
She done do got that aura good.
She's having the boat. She's having us slow the boat. Is I will send over to Monsieur Theo.
You see, of course, the paleness of her aura, showing that she's kindred. No surprise there. But you see, like, a very light purplish blue that denotes calm and somewhat satisfied attitude.
Cool.
So, real quick, as Maggie is heading up to the stage and makes her little note into her walkie-talkie.
Did anyone hear it? I'm sorry, I missed that. I'm just letting
Yes,
talk.
I telepathically thought at you. She's having the boat slow down.
Also, Rebecca's still floating around if you wanted to let her know too.
Last time I tried to break into her mind, she was none too happy about it. So
Let's
see
then
what I
say
got.
Rebecca, because we decided that everyone had like kind of talked about Abraham and Dinah might do some mind thoughts. Are you going to be more open, or
She would be open to him trying to,
would you
Send, not
would you
receive,
have just
or
a
send,
low
not-
difficulty though, since you don't like it? That's up to you. We got some ones floating around. Want to do a 4 or 5? I'm a generous
it's
ST, but I'm
whatever.
still an ST.
It's whatever.
I mean,
Alright.
what is ever?
Like if this was a planned thing, then she would be more open to it. It's not like she's expecting him
Dinah
to
did actually already
try.
talk to you earlier, so let's say
Yeah.
maybe Dinah cues you in that stuff's moving.
Or it's not moving, and that is the notable change.
Which is it?
The boat is stopping.
Oh.
Effective communication right there. We should run a
Why?
college class.
So back outside on the speedboat, Luther has been playing a game with Martin, and just as soon as the riverboat starts slowing down, which definitely makes like noise. It's not like, it seems like it didn't go just from like chugging along to starting to slow down. It's didn't come to like any kind of full halt, but it's obviously starting to go to like a lingering movement on the river. And Martin, like, his head snaps up suddenly, and his attitude is he realized he got a little too excited about the game the two of you were having, and looks a little frustrated that he kind of almost lost track of his job.
Uh,
Oh, go for it.
just real quick, just in response, I would ask Abraham to relay back to the boat and outside people, check for traps. Maybe this is protected in some way. The area we're in should be the area for a reason.
I'll pull out my phone and actually text Monsieur Luther because he's a ways away.
What are you gonna text? That the boat's slowing down.
Yeah, boat is slowing. Be on guard. People might suspect something is up.
All right. I'll pull out my phone and then look at my hand and then look at Martin. Oh, all right. Show him before you leave. Just flip him over and we'll see who wins.
Come on, fine. And he throws over his cards. The last round, even though you didn't really have chips, you were just kind of like keeping a bit of a tally. He was totally bluffing pretty well, but had nothing.
That don't amount to a hill of beans, boy. Get out here. Go. Just fly up.
He chuckles a little bit, but then his face drops quickly into, showing his professional side. He scans the river. You see his eyes like dart areas that look important to him, but you can't see anything. Then he looks to the boat and back to you and says, listen, if that thing's actually stopping, the speedboat also stopped not too far away, might be suspicious to anybody watching. I'd say it might be better if you want to try and dock near the shore and just be ready to go when you need to.
Hey, Martin, I appreciate it, man, but do what you need to do. And hey, be safe out there, all right? I'll get in contact with you after all this.
He gives a 2-finger salute, jumps overboard of the speedboat into the water, and then about like 2 seconds later you see an albatross come shooting out of the water, flying up into the air.
He'll lean over to Dinah, just be like, those gangrels are just a weird bunch. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but just whew. And I'll get the boat moving and kind of cruise around a little bit and go dock it somewhere. Go piddle paddle in the water a little bit.
Yeah, so there's like not a solid dock nearby, but there is a good gradient of land, so you can like pull the speedboat up, just kind of get it settled in the really shallow waters, but be ready to go if you need to.
For sure. And if he knew that he was going to be doing undercover work for a long period of time out in the water, he'd probably bring like a fishing pole, just make it seem like he's fishing and doing something where you would stop or kind of hang around in one area for a certain amount.
Just whistling loudly. Nothing, doing nothing. Just fishing.
Ain't nothing going on here. Just me and my fishing pole, just hanging out.
I don't know why, but a guy in a speedboat fishing reminds me of like someone stepping out of a Bugatti to go bird watching. It just doesn't quite fit.
Oh my god, I love it.
Luther,
I only want to see that.
Luther, can you just real loudly sing Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens?
Yep, exactly.
Alright. So Maggie, back on the boat, goes up to the stage, taps the microphone that is obnoxiously pointed down for her stature and says, alright, well, without any further ado, I think we can all head upstairs and get the rest of the evening going. I'll lead the way. As any of you still need another refreshment, please follow. And she'll just quickly kind of clop off stage in her nice little girl dress shoes and start heading to the stairway that goes up to the balcony.
Theo will be calling Rebecca and Abraham closer. It's like gameplay time.
Yeah, Dino will actually try to communicate to Theo as well.
Yep. Both gonna be like, hey bros, so don't freak out, but
Yeah, that. So let me see here. Your willpower is 3, right, bro?
Yeah, super easy.
Hey, mine's 4, so I got you. Good thing, because I rolled 3 1s.
Hi.
But you can communicate with Abraham, who can communicate with me, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
I didn't bodge. I still got a success, but yeah.
I will let you know now. They do have people up there, in cages ready to be sold, and it is, from what I know, not a great thing to see.
Are you saying this out loud?
No, mentally, I am not letting anyone with Auspex hear this.
Can telepathy people feel feelings, like strong emotions?
They probably get like a touch, nothing crazy, but they also know you, so yeah. They might get like a mental.
You get a very clear feeling of rage just bubbling, but you do feel him controlling it though. Like he's calming.
I know this is going to be difficult for me as well. This is something that I saw far too much of in my human days.
You get a snarky sort of thought out of him, and I didn't.
Oh, I am simply empathizing with you. But we must remember that to save more people, we have to find the actual person in charge. We cannot, as much as I hate it, we cannot allow ourselves to catch the small fish when the big fish must be caught.
You'll just get a clear signal of, I'll try, no promises. It's hard to sacrifice the child in front of you to save the 3 down the road.
Believe me, I know. But do your best, please.
My word is honor. He's actually going to be like, I give you my word, I will try. And then he'll just kind of, because it's telepathy, I just like to imagine he doesn't have to use words, but it'll be much more of like almost the mental equivalent of the sidewards glance to the beast. Sort of more of a, not specifically spoken, but I can't promise I can keep this back, but I will try.
Hey, Spira? Is Tuna around?
No, she's a cat.
I know you said you were prepping her in one way or another. I don't think we finished clarifying how that was. I thought like she was gonna be out on the banks, but I don't. You definitely didn't bring her on the boat.
Okay.
Your friendly neighborhood avatar is always able to be reached at any time you need to, though.
Okay. If Theo looks visibly upset, then she's going to ask him if he's all right.
He'll like actually snort, like let out a long breath, which is for him at this point an obvious manual move. Like, in general, he doesn't breathe because he's way too old. He's too used to not breathing. He just my darling, I can do this. And that definitely sounds like a lie.
Okay, well, try to keep it together.
Keep it in your pants, Theo.
He'll smile with a huge grin and like very angry eyes. Dissonant, doesn't make quite enough sense. I will be fine no matter the outcome of tonight.
So you see the gathered kindred guests moving towards the stairs. A number of the ghouls are staying behind, but a couple of them are being brought along. And Abraham especially, I think maybe Theo, Rebecca, and Dinah, because you kind of heard some of that conversation. You can see the soldier brave face on them, that they don't want to go, but they're doing what they're told.
Also,
I was under the impression that like Rebecca knew none of this, or she would be more emotional by now.
Okay, yeah, actually, Rebecca doesn't. She wasn't around for that. Dinah, you floated around that conversation for a bit. So, Dinah, Abraham, Theo, you're a little bit aware. Actually, no, not Theo. You weren't. You didn't hear the ghoul. Abraham and Dinah, you see the soldier brave face on some of the ghouls going upstairs. The guards that were in the first floor area, the 4 of them, are moving in the direction, but not necessarily going upstairs yet.
I will hover hand the 2 of them is like a join me. So it's an obvious ask if anyone's paying attention, but clearly not touching them.
Yeah.
And that will be the aspects. Well, I mean that will be the guys with which like I need these 2 because I don't touch things.
Yeah. I will be within a quick hand's reach of Theo at all times in case I sense that he's about to start frenzying, so I can slap him on the back of the head and dominate him.
As a note for Theo, you can touch anything else, doors and stairways and stuff like that. It's just
Oh yes, people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I hover hand Rebecca and Abraham. Very Keanu Reeves of me. I'm like, come now. Like, hands just 2 inches off.
Yeah. But within a quick reach of Theo at all times.
So, everybody, with, I guess, your pack kind of making up their rear end, start heading up the stairs and into the second parlor. The guards are, like, kind of just making up the back end of the trail up the stairs. At least, like, one of them definitely stays outside. The other one, like, hovers while the door is still open. The other 2 walk inside with the crowd so that there are now 4 guards inside the room. Abraham, Rebecca...
Do they keep their distance from behind us? They're not, like, close, are they?
A couple, like, 3 feet distance. Yeah,
they're not right up against.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine.
So Abraham, Theo, Rebecca, you now walk into the room and see the description I gave Dinah earlier, where it is several antique benches lined up in a set of, like, pews. The woman in the shawls is sitting in the back, and you all have pretty high perception, so I will say immediately you also notice on all the benches, kind of set out by, like, person-to-person space, are some really standard, like, auction white paddles.
Theo visibly, not sneers, but anyone who knows him would know that he is unhappy for, like, by the minute.
Theo, I do need you to roll self-control at 4.
Just keep him coming, because that's so fair.
I was going to be
like
a little meaner, but I actually rolled a dice to see how mean I'd be.
I feel like I'm going to have to do some humanity rolls after this, because...
It'll depend on the outcome. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. But I am expecting some humanity rolls. Wow.
All right, Theo.
That was a hell of a roll.
Your beast is, like, pounding against the cage in your chest, and you feel it, and you have to, like, physically even bite your tongue. Maybe one fist, like, grips itself, but you quickly gather yourself. You remember the guys you have to hold, that this isn't, like, too disturbing or bothersome for you at all. In fact, you're here for the party. And just, it takes you a few, like, a second or two. Your ghouls, quote unquote, are standing in front of you. And you take one more small breath, and then you're fine, able to take a seat.
If Abraham's still listening, he'll just hear a thought of, I don't know if I can do this. Did you hear me?
You have to. I know.
You just the thought of just old times, and he like shakes his head as he thinks it.
Yeah, he'll hear a sigh.
One thing I am going to note, specifically for Rebecca, you notice Raymond and Carson, respectively the scruffy guy and the not really into the whole scene, better dressed
Indifferent.
dude. Yeah. They take 2 seats that are kind of off on the side. They're not bidding.
Okay.
Raymond, scruffy guy, still a little twitchy, like fingers kind of tapping on one of his legs. Carson just sits back, arms folded. Maggie makes her way towards the stage, but doesn't step up yet. As everyone in the room has a little bit of small, more chatter here and there. Abraham, you still have your hearing up. It's nothing too special, but it's a little still more of the same of them like pointing at the cages, saying like, oh, okay, those must be the younger ones, the ones just brought on. Those are definitely obviously the kinship. Oh, look at that one. She's
I'm sorry, the
obviously-
cages are out now?
Oh, the cages were there the whole time.
Can I
Rebecca-
hear-
And there are people in them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I-
Rebecca's just gonna fully stand.
Actually,
Can I-
Rebecca, I'm definitely gonna need manipulation subterfuge at 8 for you to not freak out.
Do I hear this chatter?
You know,
Theo's head's a little fuzzy with rage.
It's
4
quiet,
successes?
but not like
No, 3 successes.
it's like personal, just next to each other, just kind of like pointing out like, oh, I think I want that one. All right,
I'll put it this
Deal.
way: is it excited murmurs? Like people are excited and interested?
yes, and they're pointing at the difference of they can even tell like, okay, I think those are the ones freshly turned. Those are gonna be the ones that are recent. They might be a little bit older, maybe even higher generation.
Theo will be like pulling at his pants. Like, roughly.
Like
so
you know, different
Abraham,
cuts of meat.
Abraham is going to also there Abraham is also seething with rage, and he will think to Theo, we can save one of them.
All right, actually, you know what, Abraham, give me also a manipulation subterfuge.
Oh yeah, that's
Where's the milk when you need them? Calm the beast, please.
I am.
Do I need to do
Manipulation,
that?
10, subterfuge, 10.
So Rebecca, obviously, like, you immediately, like, you even feel that, like, just hit of nausea in your stomach seeing this scene.
Lots.
And maybe even, like, for a half second, you think, like, how monstrous and horrible Kindred are as a whole. But then you standing next to Theo and Abraham and understanding how amazing, just like the breadth of humankind is varied, that this is, you're just seeing the worst, and your mission is to try and help these people and do the best you can, and you need to keep it together. You're just using Abraham and Theo, and even the thought of Dinah and Luther, like, you're here to help if you can.
So I am thinking to Theo, I cannot save them all, but I will save one of them. Pick.
Is this again still telepathic?
Okay, so if it is in Abraham's accent, it is telepathic. If it is in Peter's accent, it is out loud.
Okay.
That is the easiest way to differentiate.
Okay.
I am willing to sacrifice a dot of resources here if I have to save at least one of them.
She's gonna
Theo's response to that is like 12 different thoughts at one time, just overcrowding each other and just like creating a huge noise in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, saving one isn't good enough if we sell the rest. You would know this. We've done this, actually.
I know.
I'm assuming we've done this.
Rebecca's gonna like skirt because they're all sitting, right?
Yeah, we're sitting. The three of us are sitting together.
Yeah, she's gonna kind of skirt out and like just kind of Like if she
Theo
can
will grab her.
stand and rest.
Theo will grab her and keep her close.
He can't.
No, not. I can grab her clothing, right?
Can't touch people, baby girl.
No,
Oh,
but your clothes.
Clothing
You
are
grab
fine.
your clothes.
It has to be like a touch that your brain breaks that illusion of his like disgusting skin. So he can like tug on your shirt and it won't cause any problem.
He will tug you and almost needily pull you back next to him. Like in a I need you kind of way. Unless you offer up resistance.
Then if Theo says that we saving one is not good enough, Abraham
doesn't
will
say
change
that.
tactics. It's
He
something
literally-
along the lines. He will say, "Please save one of them. I will float it."
Theo, do you want to make a perception alertness roll?
Sure.
Go ahead and do that.
Difficulty 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
4 successes.
All right. Similar to Dinah, you recognize the face of 2 people in the cage that you've heard people pointing at saying those must be the like actual kindred. You don't know them, but like you've seen them around New Orleans. Like if you really thought about it, your brain's everywhere. You might be able to recall their names. You're not at all close with them. You know you've seen them before.
Do I know if they're lower or higher on the totem pole? You know Theo is a mother hen.
They're certainly not neonates. They're not even New Orleans residents. But they're like regulars of Mardi Gras. Both of them. They're like equal in your eyes as far as who they are.
Rebecca's gonna try and sow guilt into the mind of Mr. Twitchy in the back. Raymond.
Okay.
Rebecca, you angel.
So that would be a flat either mind 2 or 3, depending on what you want. So mind 2 is like you can project like an impulse or like a single thought, and that would be guilt. Or mind 3 to influence someone's thoughts, and that's still just guilt. So like she would probably want to do the more sophisticated version of it. She wants him to feel bad about what he sees.
I'm gonna let you roll whatever you want, but unfortunately the difficulty is gonna be 9.
Okay, can I burn a willpower because she is pretty fucking adamant about this.
Absolutely. I'm just letting you know, without any spoilers, difficulty's 9.
That's super fair. Like super fair, but yeah, she's gonna spend a willpower. That's 4 successes, including the willpower.
You, looking at the guy, maybe even if you're not like staring at him, like keeping a peripheral on the guy after you try this, you see his eyes dart between the 2 cages, suddenly looking unsure where previously he was looking like really excited to get the proceedings going on, and his one leg starts shaking violently, and he like puts both of his hands to his head like he's trying to get rid of a thought, and Carson, who's sitting next to him, looks surprised and a little concerned and leans over, putting a hand on his shoulder, and starts speaking to him as quietly as possible. Abraham, I know you have your auspex up, but he is very quietly whispering just right into his ear. So give me perception alertness at 6 to actually hear it.
So
Can I also, because Rebecca's
at
invested
5
here.
because eavesdropping?
It's a small room, so I'll allow it.
Hey, you are fully within your right to say no. I have this
know,
specialty.
I'm just
I think
so
that's like the one
nice.
specialty I have written down.
I'm just so nice.
And if I can
Jesus
like
Christ.
to enhance perceptions.
All right, go ahead and roll for that, Rebecca.
Cool. DC should be 5.
Interesting question. Do
One success.
exploded 10s roll together or separately? Does the one success on my one or the one success on my one
You
explosion
got 7. Shut up.
cancel? I'm just curious. Like for future reference, this might actually be relevant.
Say it again.
So I rolled 10 and then I exploded 2. Are the 2 dice separate, where I got a success and then I got a failure, or are they rolled together in a single pool where my 1 cancels the 8 that I got another success on?
Exploding 10s don't count as ones. They don't count as
Okay, cool.
subtractions. They just
Cool.
It just means nothing. Sorry.
Yeah. Obviously not relevant right now. I was just curious for future reference.
I almost didn't get the question because we'd gone over it before, but fair enough to ask again. Yeah, no, when you explode a 10 and you get a 1, it does not subtract anything. Exploding 10s are just basically you get another chance for a success or nothing. So Abraham, it's nothing crazy, but Carson definitely leans over and says, "What's wrong? Are you all right? What?" And you can hear Raymond mumbling a little bit, and he's like, "Nothing. I just stupid fucking thoughts. I'm fine." And Carson again in a calm voice is, "Listen, it's almost over. We can go back to New York shortly."
I'm just gonna hunt this motherfucker and kill him for totally
No,
not
he's on our
meta
side
reasons.
He's on our side now. Aww. Get a room.
I like the red
We
hair.
don't
She
need
always
Ike
had
to
red
hunt
hair.
him. We're going to just up and kill him.
Vi changes her hair a lot. It's cute.
No, he's on our
Yeah.
side as far as Abraham is concerned.
Rebecca,
Because
you
he
only
doesn't
got
know
one
that you made
success.
him on our side.
Rebecca, you only got one success, so you don't hear the words very clearly, but it definitely sounds like Raymond is very upset. Like, you already knew you got the success. You saw from his body language the noise and grunts kind of coming out of him, and you hear Carson like just trying to tell him to like hold it together. You get the general gist of what they're saying.
She's gonna want to push on that fucking button. She's going to want to push and
All right.
make him.
Yeah, Dinah?
So, how much of a disaster would it be?
Best
Oh my
opening.
God.
Right?
That's never a
If
bad thing for
Dinah-
a player to ask.
Made her way to the stage and then dropped a majesty to make everyone feel disgusted with this whole thing.
I can't
Like,
tell
I know
you
I
the
can
answer
use
to that.
presents. No, I know I can use presents, but like I know I'm also still in astral form. It makes you visible? I think it does.
Let me take a quick
I
look.
don't know. It doesn't. Yeah. That's my technical. Like, either way, like, I'll play up the fucking ghost angle. I don't give a shit. But I don't have.
Let me
This is the perk of Majesty. I don't have to roll. I just spend a willpower and it happens, and then they roll a resistance.
All right, so I was about to take another break anyway, so let's do that. I'm gonna run to the ladies, and I will double check the rules as best as I can understand them between using Majesty and
It's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, but that's my job as ST, so I'll figure it out. We'll come back to that in a minute. As always, chat amongst yourselves. We'll be back in about 2 to 4.
And to
Alright.
the chat, ask any questions you have of us. We'll answer them. Any questions about this game, previous games, other games, future games, who the fuck knows?
I have a question for chat. So Mage 20th defines 6 dots and resources as being Hollywood money. Like what end of the spectrum of Hollywood money are we talking here?
If you're talking Hollywood money, I'd say like Will Smith money.
Okay, Will Smith? Okay, then I will look at his net worth. Like obviously, because I feel like this auction is in the amount of money where which celebrity I'm basing my money off of might actually be relevant. Because you'd be surprised by how big the difference between celebrity wealth is.
I wouldn't. That's why I said Will Smith, not Morgan Freeman. But I would say that I feel like black market goods, you're going to take a discount, especially very unsavory black market goods.
Cool.
How many rich people are this bad or this brazen?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, these people have been around for as long as I have, with the ability to do exactly what the fuck that I did.
One or two of them have.
Yeah.
They're also at a Diablerie auction, meaning clearly they need more. And elders, I feel like generally don't really go in for Diablerie, because why? Other than very sadistic ones.
So Spira.
Diablerie is addictive.
Okay, I have a question.
Like, just flat out, like, if you do it, especially even more than once, like, it starts making you want it as much as a ghoul wants blood.
Alright, Zib's question, then I have one.
Mage 20th has a benchmark for what 6 dots and resources means. It defines 6 dots and resources as being Hollywood money. What celebrity should I be basing my Hollywood money off of? Like whose net worth approximately?
VTM has it too. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, VTM has its own scale, but
okay.
I would say though, like, how many elders are addicted to Diablerie and still in Camarilla City doing things among Camarilla?
First question, Abe, you have 6 dots?
6 dots and resources.
So 5 dots is multimillionaire.
Okay, so Mage 20th.
And give you a little extra, if liquidated, you'd have 5 million in cash, allowance about 30K a month.
For 5 dots.
For 5. So
okay, so Mage 20th actually goes all the way up to 10 dots and resources.
Okay.
And it says that 6 dots and resources is Hollywood money. That is the term that it uses. It doesn't go any more specific.
Cool.
Whose net worth are we talking here? Like Will Smith, like Martin Short? Like
I'm guessing
how
Hollywood money is like
You
a
got Pauly
person,
Shore, man.
not who lives, not like a celebrity, but like a producer.
I feel like I like Wooden Monkey God, Kosh Brother money. Like, that's serious, that's fuck you money.
Let me say it's multimillionaire in the sense that you're technically multimillionaire with 2 million and regular income. I'm going to say you're multimillionaire in that you can spend a fuckload and keep that term. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference of people say, like, I'm a multimillionaire, I got $2 million. Other people are like, I've got 10 or 15, so even if I spend a couple...
I absolutely am not Kosh Brother.
No.
They are... Bill Kosh has a $1.8 billion in net worth, and I am nowhere near that.
Let's say...
Let's said, like, Will Smith?
Yeah. Like
cool.
Like a 5 easy any day of the week.
Okay. So Will Smith or so?
Yeah.
Okay. So because I need to know how much money I am willing to spend to save at least one of these to clear my conscience a little bit.
Sure.
So about $250 million net worth is what Will Smith is sitting at.
Okay. Now, Kozark's question. Repeat it for me.
So my question was, as far as this could be in character, out of character, just delineate so I know where to place the knowledge, or both, if you would elucidate. So, but how likely is it for elders who are addicted to Diablerie and still hanging around Camarilla? That at least seems rare as fuck. I would think that our audience would be of the younger variety and not as old as us, because he was saying like everyone's as old as us, or Zibs was saying everyone's probably as old as us, as powerful, and I was like, the numbers might be skewed. These might be younger people because they're doing some fucky shit, and it'd be hard to make it to the upper echelons with fucky shit going on. And Camarilla, not Sabat.
Abe didn't get a good read on Maggie, and that's what he said. He said she's at least ours. I don't know.
No, but
Let me finish. So he said Maggie's at least the same as us. I can't get anything better. You do know my Rose is younger, but you didn't get any read on Tessa, who brought her along. There are, say, 10 kindred here, not counting the espionage people. So, yeah, that sounds like a lot for the Camarilla, but think of how many Camarilla people are in the States. If these are a select club of people that do this, that's not insane.
okay, like archons and princes and all that. Like how well, big money. Does it happen? Big money comes along with corrupt, disgusting vampires.
Absolutely.
In the Camarilla.
Absolutely. And in fact, the thing is,
So Theo wouldn't be surprised that there's this many degenerates.
No, this is obviously you're like, you want to stop it because it's gross and you found it in your backyard. But it's not actually insane. Obviously, the Camarilla, it's basically like human government. It's like there are plenty like people who genuinely care about the issues and want to help people, and then there are tons of people that are there just to make money and make policies go through that help them. You know what I mean? Like it's not at all surprising when you find out so-and-so had this like corrupt business deal and blah 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 blah, even though they like claimed they were doing something for the community. It's just the vampire version of it.
Can I throw something incredibly stupid on the books? When we're done our break, but like, and you tell me if Thea would know better, because Thea would know more. I've reached the limit of my player knowledge.
That's why you guys ask me questions.
Yeah, Theo would probably text the prince and just be like, blow this up or I call an Archon. Of course, he doesn't have an Archon's phone number, but he has someone who knows someone who has an Archon's phone number.
You mean the boat?
Blow this up as in ruin this whole thing or I talk.
Well, okay.
Basically, put every ounce of muscle you have into this, or I will bring the axe down on our own heads.
Okay, no, I get the point of the message, but you do know you're like in edge of your frenzy, like anger. So of course that's why you're gonna send that up. But you do, the slight logic side of you knows that the prince he just meant like, a bloodbath on the river is not any good either. So he was like, go find out what you can, save people if you can, kill them all if you can, but like he didn't know the situation.
No, he specifically requested we don't kill anybody and let the auction happen. I'm saying basically
he didn't say no bloodbath, but he was like, hey, if there's like 3 of them,
all I'm saying is like Theo's basically ready to go like all in, push all the chips into the table. If you don't put your muscle into this, I will blow up the city. Cause like, really? There's only 7 of us outside? I would be like, where's the SWAT teams? Why aren't there tactical missiles focused on this ship? Like, kill us all, let's go. Theo's an idiot though, so.
Okay.
This is all break time, not in-game, out of character stuff.
Also, like, Abraham might have had an idea if we save one of them.
Okay.
Mostly because he doesn't really know how computers work.
How's it coming?
Follow the money to a bank account and see if we can't find out something going on with the bank account.
Damn it, Rev, where's your Nazi when we need... Not Rev, fuck. SCV, where's your Nazi when we need one?
Mine? Oh, I was like, I don't play a fucking Nazi, dude.
Yeah, we could use one right about now to hack bank accounts.
Sorry, guys. I was told I can't do it. I'm not experienced enough.
I was
This
told I
man
wasn't
knows
allowed
how
to
to
play a
hold a
Setite.
grudge.
As Rebecca, Abraham, and Theo especially in their physical forms, are trying to keep their cool with the sight in front of them, and not just the sight, but understanding what it means. And Dinah is still lingering around, I'm sure just as livid, but at least in ghostly form where no one can see her writhe. Luther sits out on the banks of the river with his speedboat shut down, ready to go, or maybe idling quietly, and knows that the other 3 gangrel are out scouting and ready to help if they need to be. Luther, maybe you're just quietly, solitaire, or, like when someone plays chess against himself, playing poker against himself.
I have a fishing pole. One of the
Oh, really? You're
truest
fishing.
games.
Yeah.
It's me versus the fish. Let's
Of
see
course.
who the
Man
winner.
versus Wild.
Yeah, exactly. Do I need to roll for this? Can I roll for my fishing?
Are you trying to actually catch fish?
I mean, he'll catch and release. He wouldn't just catch it and keep it.
Dear SCB, because you have the best fun unnecessary rolls, give me
Survival.
yeah, like dexterity survival.
It's a bad day. It's a bad day out there, guys.
It's quiet on the river. A big river boat went by. Some asshole on a speedboat was out late at night. The fish are quiet and hanging out in their holes. But
Spira, I love that that fishermen would just make excuses. It's not their fault. It was just bad. The moon was fucking in the wrong stage. It was a little bit cloudy.
Spira's been fishy with
I've been fishing with Coz and his family. I know what it's like.
All right,
Fuck you guys.
I kind of wish you had botched so that you could have caught a boot.
That would have been great. It would have been a crate of boots, but Futurama reference.
A crate.
Yeah. So Luther, you're just sitting on the side, trying to not think about what your friends are doing and just having a nice quiet night of fishing. But just into the woods, or the kind of the wooded area along the banks, you hear some rustling. That sounds very animal-like, and just a moment later, you see a decent-sized canine. It looks somewhere between like a coyote and a wolf, but with really like rusty-colored fur. Comes like running and then like to a quick halt, stops at the shoreline, spots you, and then like shakes off like some of the leaves and stuff that like had gathered on its fur.
No luck, boy. I ain't got no fish for you. Just keep on going.
Similar to the albatross that had stopped on your boat earlier, it's a little hard to look at this dog for a moment until suddenly you see Roxy, the gangrel, appear in front of you, standing at the shoreline.
I know Roxy, right?
Yep. You hadn't met her many times, but you definitely got a good introduction at the prince's house.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, Roxy, yeah. What do you do? The prince hired you, huh?
She chuckles a little bit and starts, lumbering her way down to your boat. She's in very much like kind of, not tactical gear, but like, some loose pants, heavy boots, and a plain tank top. She starts putting her hands in her pockets. Yeah, that's what we discussed before. Hey, Luther. And she looks toward the boat. You know why that thing stopped?
Why? No, but I'm assuming some sort of shenanigans are going to be starting soon.
Well, we know what shenanigans are supposed to be starting, so I'm assuming that means they're getting underway with the whole, like, selling people thing.
Yeah, that's... Yes, I'm assuming that the auction is starting or is on the way.
She shakes her head in, like, absolute disgust. Can't believe this is something that fucking happens. I mean, it's one thing to, take a little nibble off of someone and leave them to their own, but it's another to actually... It's fucking cannibalism, what it is.
It's damn near pure evil. It's happened. How old are you, Roxy?
She practically throws her head back in a laugh and says, I thought that was supposed to be rude to ask a lady.
Come on now. I think we've been around the block a couple of times. I think we can talk about age a little bit more openly.
She cocks her head and looks at Dinah's sleeping forms. She's supposed to be like that, right?
Why does everyone think I'm just gonna be riding around with Dinah just in danger? Yes, yeah, she wants to be like this. Just if you get close and you whisper something, she might hear you.
She starts taking a few more heavy steps down the slope, just at the water's edge. Looks at Dinah again for a second, and then just like shakes her head with a chuckle. Nah, that's alright. If she can hear us, I don't care. But I ain't got nothing specific to say. Everything's been quiet on our side of things. I think Christopher and Anthony on the other shoreline. Jake's up ahead, just trying to keep an eye on the boat. I figured I'd just come and see you since I saw you stop. She kind of like does a quick little leap that, to you, with enough of your age, you recognize as her like putting a little celerity in her legs. Jumps on the boat and lands almost too evenly. A little like half superhero pose, and then sits down.
You ain't good at fishing?
Not so much with a pole.
Well, I got an extra one if you want one. Just, I don't know. It might look a little bit awkward if you're, I don't know, the passed out one, the one not fishing, and the one that is fishing. You might want to just grab one.
All right, for the show, why not? So she
There we
takes
go.
the other pole and like her other arm, not holding it, like leans on the side, and she casts it out. Not particularly gracefully, but obviously has done it before. Lands like a good few yards out in the water. She pulls the reel back for a second to lock it, and then looks toward you. So you want to know my age? Is that including before this or after?
Both. Let's just combine them together.
I mean, I guess it's not so much math, she says, kind of pointing to the fact that she does look like she's in her early 20s. Let's see. Carry the 2. Let's put it at about, maybe like 130. I've been around for a little while.
All right. Well, then it would be, as much as I hate to use the expression, a little bit before your time, but this these kind of sales have been going on for a long time.
I mean, that's what I heard. Still can't wrap my mind around it, and especially after everyone explained it to me what exactly diablerie fucking was. Like, it's not even just. I mean, I'm not into draining humans. It's why would you? You can get what you need and leave them alone. It's like if you could slice bacon off a pig and leave it alone. But you know, this is something else. This is taking their soul apparently.
Yeah, I didn't mean diablerie sales have been happening for a long time. I don't know how long those have. I just meant the selling of humans, people.
Oh, I've had my history lesson, son.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying this ain't this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing specifically for us kindred. This is I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to say human nature, but it's in us, I'm sure.
That's true, but she like rubs her neck, like, kind of a little awkward. I'm not trying to downplay what it's like to be a slave, but you still get to maybe have your life, some free thoughts, a friend or something. This is someone eats you. What makes you, as far as they've explained it. I've never trust me, never tried it.
Roxy, I'm not I'm not sure this is a topic we could dive too deep into tonight. That's I don't know. My parents were. It, yeah. There's differences. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Dinah came back and told me that they got them in cages though, and it's close. It ain't too far from.
Ugh. And she shakes her head in like just complete disgust. I know the prince said he didn't want any bloodshed tonight, and I've been on missions like this before. I know the worst thing to do is to go in guns blazing, at least some of the time. Some of the time that works. But I just hope we can maybe help some of the people. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should get our people off the boat and just sink the thing. Do we got any mortars around?
I got a boat, I got a passed out Dinah, and I got 2 fishing poles. I ain't got no mortars. I ain't got any explosives. I'm sure if Theo was out here, he would probably have some driven down right now. But I'm not sure if sinking the boat's our best option right now.
She laughs, looking around the boat when you like kind of point to Dinah and the fishing poles. Yeah, it's a problem with some of these things where you gotta be delicate. You just can't. And she kind of trails off for a second and shakes her head. Did you get to meet any of my friends?
I met Martin. I'm assuming he's one of yours.
Yeah, and she smiles the second you say his name. The other two, I wouldn't call them unfriendly. Just a little more on the quiet side. Martin likes to shove his nose into everything. I know
The smile she gives, is it more like more than friends kind of a smile, or no?
No, it's like when you mention a person and you're like, that friend of that guy. Like lovingly,
Okay.
but like, oh, that one.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty fun-loving type of guy. Yeah, I like Martin. I could see us getting a drink together or something after this, as long as all goes well.
Yeah, no, Martin's a great guy. I have a lot of fun when I get to see him. He's from out of town, but like I said, good guy. If he weren't an albatross in that form, he'd certainly be as annoying as a seagull sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to, I don't know what, all the old stories of us turned into bats and like, and he said he has a giant, almost like a pelican flying down. It's just it's cute almost.
Oh, you didn't know that about us, did you?
I mean, I knew it. I'm just saying. It's a hold on. Spirit is Gangrel. You choose, right? Or is it like you're born? Is it Harry Potter?
Every gangrel you've ever heard of or seen is either like a bat or a dog. The fact that you saw an albatross and alligators earlier is different.
Okay. It's just very. I don't know. It's very southern to see crocodile and albatross as one of you.
She gives a slight slap to the inside of the boat as she laughs and says, yeah. No, you must have just gotten to know most of us, what they might call land-based gangrel. We got a sort of a group of cousins that take better to the water.
You ever catch any flack for choosing a canine?
Just a note for anybody watching. Zibs will be back in a second. How to restart his computer, but we'll just kind of mosey on for a minute. Hopefully, we'll be back quickly.
I'm Zabani now. I'm Ibrahim.
I am the Zabani. I'm gonna switch you back just because it's your seat. Repeat your question real quick.
You ever catch any flack for being for choosing a canine?
shakes her head quickly. No. Like I said, us. I guess you'd say most of us gangrel. We tend to be canines of a sort. So, we all look more akin, I guess, to our personalities, as far as I've ever understood it. I don't know. Just, I look a little more scruffy, whereas other people look like a proper, zoo-dwelling wolf. Perfect specimen. It's all a little different, but we tend to be, canines, and then we can potentially, fly around as some bats. But I just got our cousins here, like I talked about, take more to like a waterfowl and something that's better at swimming.
I just mean with the let's call them natural enemies of the Lupin, the werewolves. That maybe there'd be some conflict with you. I don't know. It was just a thought that I had.
She shrugs slightly and says, I always wondered if that was the reason in the rarest of circumstances they will talk to us. It tends to be my clan that they're happy to talk with. Just, maybe they sense something in us. The fact that we're closer to animals, closer to being, what they are. And please do not quote me to any of them about this. I'm just saying that, compared to a Ventru up in his tower, or a Toreador at an art gallery, no offense. But, maybe that's why when any of us kindred need to speak with them, ends up being me and mine that have to go out in the woods, find them. Maybe our scent's not too bad.
No, I mean that makes sense. Hey, another question. You got hired for this job, right?
Hired is a word.
Recruited. I mean,
Yes.
you are gaining some kind of financial wealth from doing this, I'd imagine.
My friends certainly are, and if I need to ask a favor of the prince, I've got that in my pocket. But I take this a little more along the lines of keeping the prince happy. I know you've been around a long time in New Orleans, but I don't know how much you understand exactly about some of the turmoil between the princedom and the gangrel. By the way, Rev, yeah, no, I know the cameras are messed up. I'm hoping Zibs is going to be back in a second. I don't want to spend a whole 5 minutes fixing them. But maybe I will if he's going to be a minute.
Spirit, do I know about the whole prince and gangrel thing?
You would at least know some of the details about one of the gangrel in the city, and particularly it was Roxy's sire, being like initially exiled and then he went completely missing right after the previous prince was assassinated by no one knows who.
Yeah, I know there's some, let's call them rough waters between the gangrel and the prince. I mean, anyone who's been around for a while knows about it.
All right, I'll fix the cameras real quick since Zibs might be a few minutes. Talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds.
1, 2.
Guys, I can't wait for you to blow up this boat, and then I have to getaway drive out of here.
All I'm
I'm
saying
into
is
that.
all the naysayers to Theo's idea of planting bombs and sinking the ship, y'all dumb. Look at me now.
Hella dumb. Bunch of stupids.
Bunch
Theo-
of stupids.
Theo.
Dinah's gonna go just full creepy ghost and hope that it works. And then if it doesn't, she didn't blow y'all's cover.
Does
Rebecca's
Dinah actually
definitely
have-
gonna start fucking like looking at people's histories to see how deep their involvement was, so she can just target.
Does Dinah have Calm the Beast though?
No, she has presence 5. She's majesty. She's gonna just do it to the whole room.
No, I'm saying just in a Theo-centric view, because like
I mean, she has presence. She can just make him like her and do what she wants, like she did with Hector.
I'm not even
It's
gonna
not
be like
calm the beast, but it's a thing that would be how she would do that.
I'm not even gonna say like you're wrong. Between you and Abraham, you might need to mentally just beat the shit out of Theo. If
I mean, I'm
you
gonna
guys-
do presence. Like that's.
well, yeah,
I'm doing it for everyone.
All right, real quick, Luther, what was your last thing to Roxy?
I told her, like, yeah, anyone who's been in the city knows about the problem with the gangrel and the prince. Or whatever she referred to.
So she shows a little more emotion on her face. Not a lot, just kind of like her eyes go downcast for a moment. Yeah, well, I just certainly don't want to end up in the same boat. So when the prince comes calling, if it ain't nothing I'm personally against, I'm happy to oblige. And like I said, at the end of the day, I do get to say, hey, I did such and such. I need a little help over in this direction. How about we work together? It's a weigh and give kind of thing right now. I certainly have something I could ask him for, but yeah, no, I also want to deal with whatever kind of devilry is going on right now.
Hold on, you. Do you think the prince is gonna make you kind of? I don't know. If you didn't help, there would be some disappearing acts happening. Is that what I'm catching from you?
No, honestly, I don't think the prince has any problem with me. She sounds like she's stuttering a little about what you might want to say, but there is so much between Jared and him, and I don't really know the full details. Anyway, my point is, like, I just want to, like any good Camarilla citizen, I just want to stay in the good graces, and I cared about this mission, so I had some friends that could help. I'm here now, and trying to catch a fish at about 12 a.m. at night. I don't know why you're trying to do this, but
Oh, I mean, come on, it's relaxing.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I've never caught a fish past maybe like 10 p.m.
You've never been night fishing? Come on.
I've been night fishing, but there's a point where they just fall asleep.
That's not. No.
catfishing.
I know.
I mean, there's crawfishing. There's your new.
We're on a dumb,
There's
muddy
your-
bank that is definitely not catfish territory. We're on a little
Anyways.
muddy bank where maybe there's a mama catfish and like some bluegill. That's about all you might find.
It's all fun, you know. It's snags. Anyways, I don't need any sass from you. I'm just trying to blend in out here.
Well, you got the wrong partner in your boat right now if you don't want any sass.
All right. Well, get on with, I don't know, running up and down the banks as a dog. Me and Dinah will be fine here, and I appreciate the talk. And Roxy, if you ever need anything, you know, give me a holler.
Roxy shakes her head. You're not getting rid of me that easy. And as a joke. She says, honestly though, we ain't seen nothing up ahead. We've gone a couple miles at least. So, I think actually my best bet is staying here if we have to head over to the riverboat itself. Jake's actually coming back.
Oh, well, hey, if you're gonna be here, You want to play a game?
What kind of game?
I mean, I got a deck of cards. We could play. We could play spades. We could play poker. Texas, 4-card draw. We could, anything you want. We can play that.
She thinks about it for a second and then gets a really wicked grin on her face and says, "How about I show you how ridiculously lucky I am with Gin Rummy?"
Oh, it has been a while, but it would be my pleasure if we can sit here and play some gin rummy with our poles in the water.
Sounds good to me. All right, before we go back to the boat with the rest of our PCs, I just want to note that's a reference to how me and Kozdark used to play Gin Rummy all the time, and I beat him every time to a point that he said, "I'm never playing with you ever again."
Guys,
If she were to say this gin rummy game or our marriage, I'd say fuck our marriage. It's over.
I don't, cause it's half luck at least. Like there's not a lot of skill in Gin Rummy. It's a lot of luck, and I don't know how I always beat it.
So the next time
fucking
we meet up,
bullshit.
we're playing some gin rummy, right? Because
Yep,
I'm
that's
into
what I
it.
heard.
All I'm hearing is y'all really want Spira and I to get a divorce. So last time you're seeing one of us on this stream, probably me.
I will say real
How
quick
else am I
though.
gonna get my hands on you?
Real quick, I'm gonna say though, when it's me and Coz with other people, it gets more even. But like just me and Coz playing together, like I always would like
I just really fucking love gin rummy.
like
so,
19
Alright, cool,
times
cool.
out of
So-
20. Like it's ridiculous. And he was just like, "I'm not playing with you anymore."
So Hope, you're on Spira's team. I've never played, so I'm on Koznark's team.
I'll play on your team, man. I was raised playing gin rummy. We're good.
All right, so all I'm hearing is that SCB, Zibs, and I will be cuddling together, and y'all bitches be out there in the wind.
I mean, that's fine.
I mean, I am
We
into
could do
that.
that.
Only
Okay.
Don't threaten us with a
sounds
good
like a
time.
good Thursday night.
That's a damn good Thursday night.
Back to the boat. We've got Theo, Rebecca, and Abraham in person in the auction room. Maggie, the uncomfortably strange child kindred, is walking up to the stage, seemingly about to start the auction herself. The rest of the kindred have found themselves seats in the pews with a like very like traditional little like white auction paddle, sitting there just kind of talking to one another. Raymond and Carson, which only Rebecca know about really personally, are sitting off to the side, and you've got 2 cages full of people about to be auctioned. Yeah.
Can I do a roll so it would be time to, life to, matter to? Basically to see all of I'm debating between Raymond and the little girl in the white lace. Their history, like their recent history, to try and pinpoint and see if either of them are heavily involved in this.
Okay. Yes. For the spheres, I just need you to pick one, and then difficulty is gonna be 7.
Okay.
Let me know who. Let me know who before you roll.
Yeah. Yes. I should flip a coin. Honestly,
You can even do
Not super
slash
decisive.
roll space 1d2, and it'll give you if you want to do it that way.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
In Roll20, in the space where you can type, you can do slash roll, same as Discord, /roll space 1d2 to choose. Just pick ahead of time.
Even Stevens goes to the boy.
Okay. All right,
That's
Raymond.
the boy then.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, let me roll. No. Just no. Just no.
Okay.
Can I target the girl now, or?
So let me say that you try and focus on Raymond, Scruffy Dude, to try and understand what's been going on in his life recently. Obviously, I mean, you can infer it. Something's different about him and Carson, with them sitting to the side. But like his mind is so tumultuous now, it's almost blocking out any other inference you can get. You get this. You actually do read him a bit, but it's just like it's this mix of guilt you forced on him plus an anger about the guilt and trying to push the guilt out against the desire he had from before, but you can't read that.
Okay.
If you want to try again with Maggie, I'll let you go on that roll. That'll be it for the scene though.
Okay. Five successes.
There you go. So, Maggie is walking toward the podium up on the small stage, obviously trying to, like, get things rolling. You peek into her mind, and you get some distinct glimpses of her speaking directly with Raymond and Carson about this evening near this boat. As clear as you can tell, not exactly what day, but you can tell it wasn't tonight. So Maggie had met with Raymond and Carson before, just like in the area of where this boat was docked earlier. Same kind of old, gross dock. And the conversation is unclear in your mind, but it definitely is clear enough by inference of that it was about the auction. I mean, she's standing right in front of the boat, like, with these two. And you definitely understand that Carson, by, like, this almost, like, visual you get in your mind, was leading the conversation, but kept glimpsing at Raymond, and he occasionally nodded, but was silent. So, like, there is a leadership in the social aspect from Carson, but a final note from Raymond, and Maggie being the final arbiter.
Okay. Yeah, then she is going to immediately grab Peter.
I will look.
I know who it is. I know who is behind this. Or at least I think I know, and I think that's enough in this situation.
I will try and reach into your mind so that we're not having a bunch of vampires listen to us talk.
Yep.
It's intelligence subterfuge or intelligence manipulations. Bam. Hey, like lots though.
A little bit.
Like regardless of what the actual difficulty is, like lots though.
No problem. Just continue.
What he's
It's the girl. It's the girl and the two in the back. It's the girl and the two in the back, and the creepy guy. I made him feel more guilty, and I think he might. I don't know if he's actually on the fence, like if I enhanced, or if he's just a fucking weirdo, but those three have met to discuss this in the past, not not today, but like in front of this boat, they have a level of involvement in what I don't know if they procure or whatever, but they have a level involved in setting this up.
Do you know if there is anyone a level deeper?
Is this telepathy? Telepathy,
Yes.
rather?
Yes.
Yeah, I am gonna turn
It's a
right
four-way
around
call.
him. I'm gonna turn right around. I mean, is that a thing I can do?
No, but you can
I'm gonna
quickly
turn
the
right
important
around.
parts. Yeah.
She's gonna text Luther.
Yeah, no. I say, do you know if there is someone a level deeper?
A level deeper?
Is someone in charge of all of them?
Not that I saw. I don't know. But if we get them, maybe we
They
can figure that out.
So you text Luther.
She's gonna text Luther, all caps, and turn the brightness on her phone way down.
Oh shit! It's urgent.
Oh,
Tell Dinah it's the little girl, the creepy guy, and his boyfriend in the back.
5 100 emojis at the end.
No, she has no time for emojis. She's like, if that's telling on its.
Oh, it's serious then.
Okay, then I will. While she's doing that, I will immediately turn around. It is the girl, and to Theo, it is the girl and the two strange men in the corner. There might be someone above them, but they're yes,
Telepathy.
yes, telepathy. It is the girl and the strange men in the corner. There might be someone above them, but they are the highest here.
Abraham, can you? Because I don't know.
Just a real loud
Yeah.
noise. A real loud noise from Abraham's head that just says, or not Abraham's, a real loud noise to Abraham from Theo's head, kill them. But not.
And then
I want to
No.
kill them.
no, I
I
want
wanna
to kill
hear
him.
When I get Rebecca's text message, I would lean over to Dinah because he still doesn't know how this works. Dinah, they want you to know the little girl, say it again, Rebecca. What was it? The little girl,
Creepy guy and his boyfriend in the back.
the creepy guy and his boyfriend in the back. Dinah, his boyfriend in the back. He wouldn't explain anything to Roxy.
Dark Char. What are you doing?
Sorry, guys.
I love you.
I
then
love
he
it.
would-
Don't even stop.
He would text back and be like, "Wait, little girl? Question mark? Explain."
Wait, he responds, "Little girl, explain."
Little
No,
girl, white
she's-
dress.
She'll respond like it's still in all caps, because she didn't it's still in all caps because she. There we go. Because she didn't think to turn it off. And it says, "No, she's creepy little, like vampire little."
Yeah, I don't know if Luther would have thought she would have been creepy, but he would be like, "What? Who is she? Like, can you send me a photo?"
That can end poorly.
Okay, so she is going to. She's
Dude,
gonna
you
think
no,
about
you
it
just
and
lean
then
up like you're
no.
looking
She'll
at
just
your phone and go boop.
right. She's gonna try. Yeah. She'll try. She'll try to send it. She'll try and send a picture.
No, Sabani, that's the absolute wrong way to do that casually.
Make sure your flash is on. Make sure the flash is on.
Flash is
Subtle,
on.
you're just-
Has to be the face too.
Tell her to smile.
Has your name on the back like your mom put on your socks. Like,
She spends she's really upset because she's trying to do this quickly and it's not, you're trying to do something fast and it just doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
when you're on your phone and you're trying to turn your camera on so you can catch that cute.
Yeah,
thing
and,
that you're
it's
talking to, no.
All right. Dinah's gonna communicate to Abraham. I think I'm about to do something stupid.
I'm pretty sure the only response she's gonna get is, what?
I'm gonna try and see if I can't get this entire room to be angry enough to set them free.
That's still the plan?
But now
Like,
we
she's
know
just
who to
gonna-
chase in the busyness.
But now we have.
Sorry, Rebecca, are you checking something?
I'm debating really hard also doing something stupid, but like really stupid. Like really stupid. Like let's
It's
be
like,
honest.
Coz
basically
had
dumb.
asked me something a little like about his character you guys don't know, so like I was just listening to him, but let me know what you maybe wanna do.
Like stake a vampire.
I can't do anything except be a giant distraction. So
I mean,
I'm only gonna say, Rebecca, I think Rebecca is smart enough to know in this room full
Right,
of
it's
elders.
Not the best idea.
No.
She's gonna want to do it, but she's gonna hold.
Sure, the thought is
Hold on.
fine, but I think Rebecca is smart enough to go.
No, that's super fair.
Yeah.
Like basically, like the thing that
I'm glad you said
have
it
been
though.
debating
Like
against.
story-wise, good to know that's what she's thinking. But no,
Right?
I'm
So,
not forcing you to
really,
make the
she
decision.
really wants to get one of
If
these
you were
guys alone.
impulsive
and
enough,
then
if you want me to make you a mage version of a frenzy roll, but no, I think Rebecca would be like, that'd be so bad.
yeah.
So then my plan is to just, you know how presence works, where you can make people feel kind of what you feel tense, what happens, right?
Yes.
That I'm really fucking angry.
Okay. I am.
the chance. Well, actually, it wouldn't change my actions because I'm already really fucking angry. So
I am just gonna tell you one thing. You can still absolutely do it if you want to, especially because I know you love playing in character, even if it's bad. But
Yeah, this is
What?
a terrible idea.
Hold on. So I just want to let you know, you would know Dinah, her age, experience, etc. Doing a high performance presence role can work on even people your level and maybe a little higher, but especially people your age and way more so higher than you might slightly recognize it, at least after it fades. So there's a slight danger in that if you're in a room with people who are more elder and powerful than you, it might still affect them. But if it fades within the scene while you're still around or after and they can find you, there is a little danger. So I just want you to know the potential danger. Not guaranteed. Just want you to know that.
I know that.
Just being a fair
But also, like, I'm in
clarifying
astral
rules.
form.
Yeah, you didn't do that other role, so let me know what you want to do. I'll figure it out and clarify.
Okay. I'm gonna stay in the astral form where you just...
Majesty?
Yeah, and just majesty. That was what my plan was.
All right, talk amongst
If other
yourselves
people
for a
want to
second.
do shit before I do that, especially since I said I was about to do something to Abraham, that's fine.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I double check like 3 different corresponding different rules.
Right, God.
Hope.
Did
Like, if it
anyone-
makes
photo?
me drop to
I'm sorry?
visible,
I'm actually
which
gonna
I-
turn voice off,
Yeah,
or
she
I'm
sent
gonna
the
turn
photo.
volume down for a second because I gotta read some stuff.
Hope, did you send that photo of?
Yes, she
okay.
does.
All right.
It's like a
Did-
really shitty angle, but like, it's there.
Did anyone warn Theo that magic was about to happen?
not yet, because it's
Not
not
yet, because she literally just said,
Right? I mean, Rebecca doesn't know.
I haven't done it yet. We're just looking up the rules.
well, part of the thing is you said might. You didn't say I am going to do something stupid.
Yeah,
And then-
she hasn't decided. Like, she's 90% there, and she probably will. Honestly, I probably will.
So you explained what you were going to do to Abraham?
Yeah, I
Make
will
the
in a
whole room
second.
feel
I just
angry?
wanted to- yeah, yes, I just want to. Yeah, I will. I just want to check these rules first before I say something that's contradictory to what the rules actually say.
Hey, my brother's great. Sudden wieners are always great.
Sonics, huh?
Mm-hmm. I love my shitty Sonic conies.
Cosnark with the fat clouds right into the camera. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Koznak, where'd you go? Oh, I was scared for a
Also-
second.
When
50
Luther
step,
gets
it's
that
fine.
text message of the little girl, he would be like, "Fuck." That's all he would text.
All right, okay. So, rereading astral projection, and as far as I understand it, with a quick skim of the fucking 2,000 words or whatever it is, as far as I understand it, when an SD does allow mental prowess with it, which I am, and it's a 5-level power, and you have also high presence as well, and everything else all together, I'm gonna say doing it won't. I'm gonna say it won't reveal you as a person. A kindred with high awareness or something might immediately kind of pick up on something fucky. But the more important part is using your majesty will work, but additionally, akin to like an elder, clever, smart, knowledgeable, aware vampire noticing an astral projection using something, using the majesty, even in physical form, plus astral, may leave a projection that they can maybe follow, or at least they know something happened to them. So, what I'm gonna say is, as far as Dinah understands, you are aware of kindred awareness, and you're around a lot of elders. There's some danger in doing this, but you have no clear understanding, and you think positively that even if they know something fucking's going on, there's no way they can find who. Like, literally, like, capital letters WHO, who's doing it. Someone's doing something, maybe. Could be if they rolled high against it, but not who.
Okay. All right. We're going to communicate this plan to Abraham, because he's the one I can talk with the easiest. And he can probably more easily talk to the other people.
So you're going to go up in majesty, everybody?
This is,
yeah,
well,
what do you tell me? I don't know presents.
All right. No, you're fine. I am going to go up on that stage and I am going to try to intimidate everyone into being afraid and hopefully letting people go. I'm going to implant that. I'm going to use presence on the stage while invisible and see what happens.
Will you be safe?
Most likely.
All right.
I don't know. They would have to track me down later to do anything in any case. So safe enough.
I will let people know. Then I will probably to Theo first. And then to Rebecca. I don't see any vast difference between the way that I say it. Dinah is going to go up on stage and implant the idea that this is not good. Be wary, it might affect you as well.
Rebecca's gonna mind shield if that's all right.
Hey!
Does closing your eyes work?
It's presence, not dominate. So I imagine no.
No.
I have no clue.
Yeah, no. Presence affects people, not
I'm old enough that I know.
The thing is about presence is like more of a wash, and dominate is much more of a like focused. Absolutely, always happens.
I think you can.
Is there a
away.
save? Is there a save?
Yeah, it's a resistance roll.
Real quick. So for Majesty, Dinah doesn't actually need to do a roll. Anyone who wants to resist it has to make a courage roll equal to Dinah's charisma and intimidation.
Which is...
I'd imagine a lot.
Oh, I didn't put that many in
wonder.
intimidation. It's 7.
I wonder.
So
So-
I got 3
Okay.
to mind shield.
So I just want to tease this out a little bit. Sure, I'll make the roll, but Theo thinking this is wrong, I would say would trigger him to act violently instantly.
Yeah. So what
It
I'm going
wouldn't.
to
It
say,
would not. It would not encourage Theo to run away from the situation. It would encourage Theo to kill the situation.
No, what this majesty does, it's not like demontation where it just makes everyone mad. It's a thing where it makes what you're looking at want to obey the impulse that is sent to you. It's not like, yeah. So basically, if she is saying, let these people go and walk away, that is what you don't want to displease the person that is majestying.
So basically, if
So
she wants
that's
to
how
make them
specifically
mad,
that
your
works.
impulse is gonna be to be mad.
So
you know?
Right.
actually, the people who don't want to do this shit are fine. The thing is, she's trying to make everybody who wants to do the auction feel essentially like Rebecca did, guilty, but she had to do a specific subject. Dinah's trying for a large crowd.
So I got 1 success.
I'm just trying
I
to
was-
command the crowd.
Hold on one second,
Before
Dinah,
you
though.
roll.
Like, you're trying to do a giant crowd. I need to reread this again to, like, figure out more than one person.
before you roll, Theo, is what I was trying to say.
Oh well, I rolled. But what's up, bro?
Yeah. What I was planning on doing is, I'll apologize for this later, but I'll grab you by the shoulder, look into your eyes, and basically say, pay attention only to me, not to what is about to come. Because I know that you
He wouldn't.
react dramatically, and I'm not entirely sure what she's doing. I don't know how presence works too hard.
He wouldn't.
Okay,
He wouldn't what?
He would fight
no.
you on that act.
I'm going to try and dominate you to pay attention.
Oh
only.
yeah, no, sure. You can dominate him, but he's not going to look in your eyes willingly.
Cool, then I touch you and break the illusion.
Sure. That's just fine. I'm just saying he does not look at your eyes willingly.
Alright, so Dinah, your charisma plus intimidation for Majesty is 7, if I understand that right?
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the roll. So I didn't put any in intimidation before I came in. But yeah.
Nope, that's fine. Here's the thing, though. This is where the game ends, and we're gonna pick it up next week.
Whoa!
Because that's gonna be really fun, and it is one. So like, I need to,
but
Get-
I
but-
want
but-
to know what happens.
I
That sounds
know.
like
I
another
told you
game
guys.
for
I
content.
told you guys for weeks that this session of the game was gonna be probably 3 weeks, hopefully. Anyway, so yeah, everybody who's watching here live and people who watch later on YouTube, we love you. Thank you so much for watching our games. We love your comments. We love the people who join us for live chat on the live games. It's so awesome to see you guys. We are back on a better schedule. Sorry we were so like intermittent because of IRL dumb stuff for a while. I think we're back on schedule in a good way. We will see you next week, later this week for D&D, next week for more VTM, and yeah, just all the stuff. We're gonna see you guys soon, and we're just happy to get back on a good schedule. So thanks so much for hanging out. Love you all, and until the next time that all of our vampires are trying to be the sweethearts that they are in this world of darkness, literally, because Jesus Christ, auctioning people off is nothing nice. We will see you soon, and we'll talk with you on Discord or Twitter, wherever else you can find us. All the links down below. See you soon. Bye!